Do 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 do. Yep, stream's working just fine. Oh, let's go with a big old map. Enormous, random, score graphs, technologist. Check our spells. Blood Boil and Pain, not bad. Flame Burst, Pain. Yeah, Pain's not great. Blood Burst and Harm. Harm is really good. Alright. That should be just fine. Soul Torns. These guys are magic resistant? They are mindless, but they are not magic resistant. Alright. Or they're not heavily magic resistant, I should say. Alrighty. Oh, crap, they have a little brain bug. There we go. Yeah. Killable, but they are resistant to magic in the upper degree. It's gonna be pretty good. Can't wait to get some folks in here. Yep. It's chugging along, doing its best. Oh, we probably got on Fallen Empire, didn't we? Oh. It's not fair. I can't, like, command the ruins or anything like that. I feel like I should... Ooh, tiny sharks. Ah, small sharks. Very nice. And, yeah, I have a fortress or an old castle ruin. What does that give me? Oh, brigands. Oh, brigands are cheap. I will take those. They are cheap, but they are also ranged units. Which is the Necromancer I do not get a lot of. I'm going to pop those guys into the army. And I think we travel north from here. That seems to be the best option. Because we are, it is, however, winter, so we're going to be very, very slow. Ooh, cultist. I will save up some money, and then when we get the cash for a cult... Wow, there ain't nothing over here. We are on an empty little spit of land, folks. That's actually not that bad, because it'll protect our back, and very rarely do monsters come onto land from the ocean. I say rarely, but, like, it really is almost never. It does mean, however, that we're not going to get any reinforcements, which is fine with the demon host, or with the summoner. Ooh, house ruins. Am I allowed to, like, special power? Ooh, infernal horde, so I get imp summoning. Okay. I need some imp summoning so I can get some imps. They're cheap and available. Hero, totally useless. Wow. Wow, this is what Fallen Empire is? Holy hell. I mean, I suppose it makes sense. Fallen Empire would be just a bunch of empty, ruined land. Wow, there's nothing on this map, is there? I'm almost a little bit impressed. Special power, imp. Yeah, baby! We got bone imps. They got claws. I think that's about it. They have good magic resist, very low health, very low strength, terrible morale. But they have charm immunity, sleep immunity. They are undead, poison and cold resistance. Yep. They're good scout. They're good scouts. Yeah, not much here just yet. We are waiting and looking. I'm not sure if I can repopulate any of these areas. Oh, it's summer? Dude, we are in a freezing area. Holy hell. Okay. Killing time. Yeah, see, this is why... Ooh, Crown of Command and a Spirit Eye. Spirit Eye is super good. That gives us extra vision range. And the Crown of Command... what does this do? Oh, it's just plus... Oh, I get bonus leadership. I mean, kind of helpful. Spirit Eye, yeah. Sense Dead, Spirit Sight, and Lost an Eye. Rip. I can Sense Deads. Oh, yeah, I can do Sense Dead. That's really cool. I mean... If I was a necromancer, that would be something I inherently get, but I guess it's cool anyway. I don't need a captain. We already went over here. I should probably spawn a cultist before I do anything else. Yeah, I'm gonna wait and get a cultist. Yay, dwarf worker, that means dwarves are here. And dwarves means free loot. Because there's no way that they have a decent city built up yet. Also pale ones, and pale ones are gross, but they are relatively easy to get rid of. Ooh, phase spiders. Let's not tangle with those. Those are what killed us last time when we played. Good archery. All good. Yeah, speed it up a little bit. I think we got this one in the bag. They are cavern guards. I wonder if there's an entrance to the under area in here. Cavern guards are usually only found in those areas. The phase spiders moved on. Hey, we're getting some iron. That's nice. That's a good resource to have. Bring in a scout here. Well, not anymore. Yeah, no, I think we legit have some pretty solid hold on our territory. I'm probably gonna keep making imps. It seems like I'm the only one with a decent army in this area, and I don't want to run into the one other dude who also has a decent army, unless I have some serious advantages over him. Boom, that's cultist. Taking it. Demon boy, you are gonna use imp summoning. Yep, more bone imps. Pretty much exactly what I expected, to be honest. Alright. Birdell, you... What spells do you have? Spontaneous Combustion and Blood Boil. That works fine. You're gonna go this way. Hopefully you don't drop through the ice, because I'm going to be furious. Yeah, okay, that wasn't me. It's always scary when that little thing pops up, because it's like, did I just die because I moved my army into a bad location? Gonna move into the mountains so that those phase spiders won't bother me. Yep. Oh, man. I don't know how much commentary I can really do over these. Well, I can do as much as I can, but I know that nobody's here at the moment. So maybe I'll have to edit this out. We will see. I don't know. Maybe I'll just have to edit it to the point where it's the first person who comes in, because a lot of the time we'll be doing these kind of ad hoc or piecemeal. And I know a lot of people were upset that they missed me last time, so I decided, why not do it 2 days in a row? Plus, I'm not doing the orc video today, so I thought that it might be reasonable to do this instead. I hope none of the orc players are too mad at me, but then again, I don't know how many of you are orc fans, because I've shown almost no orcish interest so far. And even though I am a big fan of their faction, it's not for the reason of playing them, or liking their lore all that much. That's just that I think orcs are cool. And that's first drink down. And now we move on to the wine. Consuming of yesterday's wine. I cannot get an assassin. Wish I could. Super wish I could, actually, because that would be very helpful. Wow, there's nothing on this map. Ruined Empire kind of sucks. Or at least it seems like it does. I don't know. Perhaps there will be some ancient Imperial ruins or something for me to plunder. We'll have to see. I haven't played on this mode before. Ooh, sea dog. Oh, it's literally just a dog. Funny. Alright. Anything? Nope, just a captain. Definitely don't need that. Especially not since I have my leadership pennant. Okay, well, someone is killing all of the leadership of other units. I could kill this guy. Yeah, get them dogs. Do they have any... Oh, that's ice. Ooh, impressive, boys. Well played. Killed without taking a single hit back. See, the whole point of this is just to get us more XP than the enemy will have. A sea stag. Definitely not a Capricorn, though. Because those are two different things. Ooh, a strange mist appeared. See, this is one of my favorite friggin' things about this game, is that I have no idea what's going on. Random events happen all the time, random items just show up that have all different types of abilities and stats and stuff. And the wildest thing is that this is an online game. Ooh, these are independents? Okay, it's just animals. I kind of expected that. Is that... Oh, wow, these guys are experienced. Nice. Experience buffs their strength and all that stuff. They're pretty decent, all told, but they are like the base units. Yeah, get them, boys. Yeah, fire. Honestly, like, the whole point with this demonologist is just you get a bunch of dudes who have super schnasty fire magic and like pain magic and stuff like that. And it becomes really easy at a certain point to just be like, I rely upon the magic, because the only one who's actually better magic-wise, like who has a more destructive spell skill set, I'm pretty sure is like the sorcerer. What in God's name is this? Oh, it's a swamp monster. Oh, you know, just a swamp monster. Nothing. Oh, swamp move. It has hippopotamus speed. They should... How much health do they have? Oh, they have a lot of health. Okay, those are relatively tough. Let's speed this up a little bit. Magic still works really well. They're on fire. Oh boy, this is going to take a little bit more effort. Come on, mages. Beat them to death with your swords. You know, someday I hope to run Total War, but I'll be honest, my computer's struggling with just this. Oh, there's a crack in there. Real question is, can I even afford to do something about it? I'm gonna wait a little bit and get some heavy infantry, and then we will talk about that later. Captain for gold. Hey, the mist went away. Alright, killed the snake. I would really appreciate it if this Kraken just went away, but I don't think he's going to. Ooh, that is some incredible wine right there. What a great Christmas. That's so good. Ah, man, that's like the darkest Pinot I've ever had. Alright, let's go down here. I have a feeling like we're missing... Oh, Demon Cat. Cool. I mean, that counts as missing something, I guess. Demon Cat it is. I've actually summoned these guys before as the Demonologist, but I guess we're fighting them now. Come here, kitty cat. What are you missing? Oh, you have a chest wound. Well, that's about to get way, 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 way worse. Oh yeah, don't they have crazy physical resist? What's making them so hard to get rid of? Ethereal. Oh, 75% chance of just passing right through the target. That's fine. So we just speed it up and use magic. Yeah, magic. Magic is necessary in most armies, because things that have ethereal, you're just not going to hurt them. And some things have ethereal, and then they also have regeneration. And then they can theoretically just kill every single thing. And it's a cool thing when you get regeneration for your units. It's not so cool when the enemy has regeneration. I don't know which... Yeah, so my Citadel is the closest thing. So I'm going to recruit a bunch of heavy infantry at my Citadel. And then I'm going to leave some time to get archers at my Citadel as well. Because if you lose your Citadel, the game is over! Alright. Some soul is here. Pretty easy to get rid of. Soul Torn, sorry. Astral beings that feed off the emotions of suffering. Yay, it's the Dark Eldar! A little bit. They have... Oh yeah, they have regen. That's the main thing with them. Alright, speed it up just a little bit. Everybody gets some health back. Oh man. Dude, that magic is hella good. They do a lot of damage, though. Stibby stab. Stibby stab. Nice. I'm gonna have to go back and get some reinforcements. Which is fine. You know, this game doesn't really have any of the upkeep issues that, like, other games have. So, it really isn't that much of an issue to pick up a bunch of things like that. I'm going to buy some archers, and then I'm going to buy crossbowmen as well, a little bit later. Magic, boys, magic! Use magic! I can destroy the ice by accident. I didn't even know that was a thing I could do. More mountains. That's really not cool, guys. Alright, 5 heavy infantry and 5 archers. That's fine. That's a decent garrison force. At least the heavy infantry are very tough, and the archers are very strong. Oh my god, what are you? Oh, you're nothing. You're a small fry. You are small fry. Do I have the ability to use a power? I can do a Ritual of Lesser Mastery next time, and that's a pretty good option. Those basically give me new spells. Oh, that's a lot of nightmare creatures. That was unexpected. Not good at all. Oh, crap. Oh, hopefully my magic takes care of this dude. What are you? Lots of XP, lots of kills. Okay, you've got no kills, but you've got lots of XP. Yeah, magic. Hit him with magic. Beat him to death with fire and lightning and bolts of stuff. There we go. That works. Ooh, Gloves of Night. Cool ability. That sounds like a Night Lord thing. Alright, let me actually look. He did not get that. Why didn't he get that? Who has the Gloves of Night? Start battle, summon Fiend of Darkness, and you get stealth. Yeah, that's going to Daemon. Because you want your main guy to be absolutely pumped crazy strong. A moon horror. Oh, it's a moon jelly. Cool. It's an amphibian and it's ethereal, so let's not fight that right now. What about these horror mantises? They are really tough. I am going to go back to my main citadel before fighting this, because screw that. I'm going to get some reinforcements, and then I'm going to take that old city. Because it's Carleton. It's actually like a really big city. Very cool. Let's get some crossbowmen. Because I'm going to spend the next, like, few turns just summoning more dudes. and then I'm going to spend a little bit of time traveling back and forth. It's one of the big negatives with these kind of like all snow maps, is that I can't easily transit anything. Because, well, I don't have snow move. I'm not all that quick. Scout. I do not have the money for a scout right now, but, I mean, cool. 4 Soul Torn. I gotta get rid of these dudes. They are annoying. Nope. Oh, man, I can't get to them. Always just a little bit out of reach. Okay, that wasn't me. See, it tells you when random enemies get eliminated, but it also scares the crap out of you because you don't know if it's you. Hey, yeah, that's the Shadow Fiend, or Fiend of Darkness. Very cool. He's got golden claws. One of the smarter demons. Very cool. Alright, I'm gonna see if I can announce it. Oh, hi. Sorry. Just moving back and forth between my things here. Oh. Put my chat back up. Sorry, still figuring out exactly how to do this. If you come in, say hi. Just remember to check us out, because we are still figuring out how to do this, pretty much. But I'm going to be here for a couple of hours, do a long stream. I probably won't upload it, unless somebody comes in and has a really great insights to give us, you know, has some incredible opinions that we want to include in our community. Let's do a power here. Let's just do imp summoning multiple times, I guess. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, occasionally bad things happen when you summon demons, and they're not friendly. But luckily, imps are relatively easy to take care of. Alright, imp summoning. Oh, what are you? A familiar! Very cool, he has a little cheap spell he can cast. Alright, that Kraken has buzzed off. I'm going to take back this ruined port. Because it doesn't give me any indication of when people actually show up for the stream, which I think is kind of annoying. It should give me an alert or something. But it really don't. Do we have someone watching right now? No, it says it's just me. Oh, hi! Yes, hi! I saw you said that you missed me. Merry Christmas, friend. How are you doing? Hope that you enjoyed it. Spend some time with friends and family, all that good stuff. I am spending the evening prepping to entertain you guys. And, yeah. We're doing big chillin'. But, yeah, that's a great day to celebrate. Honestly, where I am right now, it was gorgeous out. Such a beautiful day. Very, how do I say? Very auspicious day, to be honest. It wasn't like overcast or anything like that. It was, in all practicality, perfect. Let's get ourselves going. I want to take this city. I think I have enough bros. And by the time I get there, I'll be able to summon imps again. And, I will also say, I think I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die to the fall. That's gonna drop me into water, maybe? No, okay, it didn't. Thank God. Ah, man. I hope the chat's not delayed. I don't know. If you guys have any issues with the audio or anything, or if you can't hear me or something, just yell. Because it should be set up. Let me check. Yeah, it should be set up. Yeah, that's a pretty solid idea, honestly. What do you say? Prepping for Grimdark Future Starfinder hybrid. Ooh, that sounds very inventive. Good on you, man. I'm working on my own system of similar nature. It's a Warhammer cult sim called Corrupt Contenders. I've talked about it before on the channel for like a couple of seconds, but I intend to do videos on it in future because I want to get it not to the point of being like a niche game set, but to being a thing like, hey, this is a theoretical system that you guys could look at and give your opinions on. And, well, it was originally something that I've been designing over the years, so good on you for thinking of something like that. I have been encouraged many times to go play Starfinder, so it has an incredible reputation, in my opinion. If you don't mind me asking, is there anything you're actually modifying to it, or is it a hybrid of multiple systems? Because I've seen people try and do some wild hybrids with Only War and Black Crusade and stuff like that. Good wine. Wow, that's good. It's almost giving me a head rush. Goodness. Alright, come on. Finish off these phase spiders. Let's go. See, my guys are tough. These heavy infantry, they really do hold the line where normal swordsmen would just get absolutely crushed. Yeah, no. I was not really good at Pathfinder. I tried to both play it and tried to DM it at least once. I was pretty terrible at it. I've been playing D&D forever. But yeah. What's up with Starfinder 2e? Is it new-ish, or is it like an update kind of thing? Because, there's been a lot of that with, like, D&D 5.1 or D&D 5.5, or 1 D&D, as it were. So, you know, Wizards and all the other companies are kind of stretching out their IPs and making some good progress, in my opinion. I'm glad when they add things to that. But yeah, I'm all in favor of home brewing and home modding. I never played D&D by the book. No, I would never do that. I think it would almost be antithetical to my being to play D&D by the book, because that's literally not how it was designed to be played. The book is suggestions, not rules. Granted, I am a DM, so I am supportive of myself modifying the rules. Players, it's more of a discussion. But then again, with you guys, it's a discussion. How we run this channel is a discussion between myself and you all. Also, Hephaestion Soul, is that a reference to the chapter master for the salamanders, Hephaestion or Hephaestion? Or is that just a coincidence? Because I was thinking about it when I saw your comment. I'm like, we got a salamander fan in the chat. Yeah, no, I'm super big on that. I'm glad that they're updating it. That's really cool. Full updates are super rare on the not the tabletop community, so to speak, but the how do I say, the gaming community in general. Ah, yes, Soul. But yeah, I am a big fan. The Salamanders are definitely one of my lower end chapters or legions. As a legion, they weren't too bad, but as a chapter, I think they may have lost their way a little bit. But that's just me. I'm a chaos guy. I can't give you fair and honest, unbiased opinions about loyalist chapters all that well. But yeah, good on you. I am a big fan, at least of Vulcan's armament and his equipment. So I will do videos on most of the Primarchs at some point or another, and a big part of that is going to be going into all the war gear and how they acquire it. You know, a lot of them get it made by Vulcan, a lot of them get it made by Ferris, some of them get their weapons made by Ferris, and then their armor made by Vulcan, all that kind of mix and matchy stuff. And I'm glad Vulcan has that. The main gripe I have with Vulcan, I have gripes with the Salamanders that are different, but the main gripe I have with Vulcan is I am a Night Lords fan, so that whole Conrad Curse thing is still fresh in my mind. Oh man, that's game for us. Phase spiders are nasty, man. Well, restart. Next game. Let's not do the same thing. Let's do agricultural. Same thing. Enormous. General graphs. Who do we play this time? Yes, it is. See, I'm glad every Night Lord and every Salamander player have this in common. They understand that it is still a hammer after all. It's really like a shared brain cell thing at this point. Let's do High Cultist. I am a big fan of the High Cultist. What's a good name? Tiberius. But yeah, I think one of the other funny things about that whole episode is, Dominions? Huh. I don't think I've ever heard of that one. What's the genre of it? I don't think I'm familiar. Is it tabletop or something like that? I know there's a little bit of back and forth where there's uh where there's shoot where there's like delay in the chat. But oh, Illwinter. Oh, so okay, I just came across this game like a little while ago. I saw a gameplay of it by another YouTuber, and I was like, huh, that seems like a fun idle game, because I used to play Slay the Spire all the time. Oh no, you're all good, man. I'm literally gonna be here for up to 3 hours, so don't feel like I'm waiting on you, man. You're all good. I appreciate that though. I just I want to make sure it's not my setup, because God knows that this stream setup is a mess. I will definitely look that up. Dominions, you say, by Illwinter. I'm gonna look that up on my phone real quick. It's a game like this. It's kind of that like bitmap thing, high fantasy game. Dominions Illwinter. Ooh. Oh, so it's like Total War. Yeah. I would totally look into that. Honestly, I'm such a huge Total War fan that no question I would look into that. Yeah, no. I'll certainly take a look at that, and if it's something that you guys want to see, like, I was thinking about trying to stream Total War, but I didn't want to try that out for, like, the first stream that I was going to actually record and post. So, I knew that this would work because of the tester stream, so, yeah. Yeah, I'll take a look at that for sure, especially if it's something similar to this, where it's not going to have a massive drain on my computer. And, I'm planning on very soon updating and upgrading my computer a little bit, getting some more horsepower, and getting ourselves a little bit more ready to play bigger games. But I think this is one of the favorite games that I've found from Illwinter, because if you've ever heard of Slay the Spire, it's kind of an idle or semi-idle card game where you get a lot of combos and kind of infinite stacking stuff. And it was built around that concept, kind of like this, of, just being a really chill game. There's not a ton of strategy to it. There's a lot of luck involved, and a lot of, like, it's a brain relaxer game. And while I was in college, I was like, well, I need something that's going to entertain me a little bit more than that. And so by the end of my last semester, I had found this, and I was like, oh boy, this is, like, actually a fun game that seems somewhat entertaining and not so difficult, because I am not a great games player. I do not play any CODs or anything like that. I limit myself to single player or kind of MOBA style games, because quite frankly my friends play that, so that deal. Oh yeah, oh yeah, Oh yes, Inscription was another one. I saw it and I was like, do I have the guts to go and play that? Because it seemed to me to actually be a pretty complicated game. Even though it is kind of that same like spire climbing, or not always spire, but like oh no, action points left. But that same kind of like progressive combat game, where you're getting more and more difficult challenges as you climb the proverbial ranks. Call of the Deep. Hell yes, deep ones. Gonna do more Oh, I need more sacrifices. Bring me more sacrifices! what's the quote from? There's a fishman and an insane fisherman. I have to go pick them up. It's like picking up your kids from soccer practice, except that they're insane fish people. So it's not at all like picking up your kids from soccer practice. But yeah, if you think Inscription is like a similar level of difficulty, I would hella enjoy that because I've seen it. And then there's also that shotgun game that came out, which is kind of the same Inscription style, but it's an entirely different like genre or different version of game. I am also just talking to Phil Silence, but same thing. Uh, I was thinking about that, and that seemed pretty interesting. But at the time, I didn't really have all that much money or time to devote to gaming. I was kind of busy. But now that I am on break, ooh, I want to look at these. See, these deep ones are really cool. I don't often get the like basic deep ones because they don't show up often. Usually, they're like pretty powerful. Yeah. Really, the only thing wrong with the rig is that the actual CPU is kind of old and kind of crappy. So all that I'd really be doing is updating that just slightly, and then I'm kind of keeping all of the guts and swapping into a new case. That should be done within the next 2-3 months, and then I should be good to just keep trucking on until you guys forget about me. So, you know, I'm here as they say until the fat lady sings. Do we have enough guts to fight a kraken here? I think we do, because it's not a very large kraken. It is a fairly average-sized kraken. Confusion. Can I actually... Starlight, Star Showers, Summon Lesser Horror. I think I'm gonna stick with the offensive ones. Wow, that died instantaneously. Holy hell. Okay. I guess we win. That was nice and easy. Mm. Mm. Great wine. Oh my gosh. I know I'm talking on and on about it, but this is such a good gift. Hey, welcome back. No, you're all good. I like you know me. I like to yap. I talk a lot, and that's basically the one thing I'm good for. So yeah, no, nothing much happened. I was just talking about for the rig. I'm swapping out everything internal. I'm not swapping out everything internal. I'm just getting a new CPU. That's the only old thing on it, and I'm swapping out the case because it's kind of a terrible case. Um, it's an old Alienware. And those have really, really bad overheating issues that I didn't know when I bought it. But now that I know, I've found that I have an issue with that, and I'm probably going to swap it out. But yeah, Illwinter, all those games, definitely things, all those things would be a solid thing for me to look into. I will definitely, ooh, these are Shamblers. Yeah, like, it has one fan, and while it usually does the job, it has heating issues, and the processor is the really old part of it. Everything else, I have good memory, I have good RAM, I have good graphics card, all that stuff I upgraded. But the CPU, I'm not technical enough to upgrade myself. I don't trust myself to not break it. And it's so expensive that I'm like, I want a professional to do it. So one of the things that I'm going to do in the next few months is bring it in to a computer shop and essentially buy a new CPU and then just tell them, hey, can you swap everything over from A to B? And then I'll come back and get the rig going, and hopefully it'll be both more heat solvent. You know, it won't be burning my leg every time that I want to play Darktide. Darktide is one of the things that it, like, struggles with. And I can hear it kind of... It speeds up like a NASCAR engine when it tries to build onto anything that has a decent level of like complexity. Okay. We are going to need to go back to our capital, and I need to recruit some decent units. Yes, heavy infantry. See, the cultist has the massive advantage that he does not care about range units for the most part. Yeah, Dominion looks pretty good from what I saw. Uh, yeah, the thrusters. I have played Total War Warhammer 2 for well over 2,300 hours. So I have played that throughout most of my gaming time period. So believe me, I'm well acquainted. I prefer it to Total War 3. I understand why people wouldn't, especially if they had not spent a lot of money on Total War 1. I spent for the whole package, including the older versions that it originally required for you to play the game, so you'd have to pay for Total War 1 in order to play Total War 2. But I also have a couple of other Total War games. I have Shogun. I have a couple of other basic ones. But yeah, mainly I have Warhammer Total War. But yeah, oh my god, I would love to stream Darktide for you guys, if for nothing else than to just do like a weapon review for Darktide. I know it would be totally unnecessary and unbelievably stupid of me, but I don't know. I find it fun, and they've done so many good updates with the game. Good and bad updates with the game. They're not all good, in my opinion, but yeah, they've done so many updates with the game that I'm like, why not give it a review? Why not go back and let the people voice their opinions? Not that you are all the people, but you are at least some of the people, and I wanted to give back that opinion. Mm-hmm. It's an addicting game, man. It pulls you right in. I played it through all of college, and legit, all that I would do, I didn't go out, I didn't party, I didn't do any of the normal college things. I boxed, and I played Total War. That was the two things I did. I did kickboxing, and I did Total War. And that was thousands and thousands of hours. Well spent, I will say. Well spent, absolutely. I do love it. Yeah, I could understand how Total War 3 might be better for co-op. It seems to be a more quote-unquote balanced game, but it kind of feels like a lot of the variety that was available in Total War 1 isn't there anymore, or is just, how do I say, it is less variety in exchange for more balance. So, a lot of the old monster units, or the rosters that relied on monsters and things like that, are either less powerful than they used to be. How does this giant beast of the deep have a crystal? Okay, whatever. I ain't gonna question it. But yeah, I can see the appeal of both. I was just a bigger fan of Total War 2 because between the release of the game and the end of updates, I basically had spent, I think, well over $75. Because I paid full price for the game, and then I paid for the first game. I paid for Total War 1, and then I paid for every single update and DLC that was available each time that it came out, and I paid full price for it. I don't regret that. I want to say it right now. I do not regret that. I really liked it, and I got my money's worth. I played for thousands of hours. But there are other games as well that I would love to play for you guys. For example, Hearts of Iron. Hearts of Iron 4 specifically is a game that I play quite a bit on my own. And I can understand how that's boring for some people. I know this is boring for some people. I am just, playing a bitmap game, but yeah. Yeah, man. It's a really solid way of doing it. See, I was on a similar schedule for a while cuz I up until this break basically I was working a very nasty shift, and I spent a whole heck of a lot of time just vacillating between do schoolwork, go to sleep, wake up, work, play video games, and my amount of downtime was remarkably low. And, it wasn't bad. It wasn't a terrible deal. I got a lot done, for sure, but I think one of the big things that I missed from college is when I was doing it in college, I would go from schoolwork back to playing, but the biggest issue that I have now is I don't have time to write as much as I used to, because when I was writing before, I would write for school a lot, and I would do essays and things like that, and I enjoy writing. But I would also get a lot of creative writing projects done, so I write a lot of short stories, stuff like that. A lot of, what people would call fanfic. I try and stay away from the really non-canon stuff. I'll do the stuff that I do for Corrupt Contenders. I'll make my leaps of logic, but I don't do anything super weird with fanfic. So, yeah. But I didn't find time for that over the last like month or so, and I was like, okay, I gotta make a change because I can't afford to let all of the projects, all the like multi-year stories that I had been working on, and were kind of falling by the wayside. I can't let go of those. Not to mention that I actually run a Warhammer RP server for Corrupt Contenders, and that system was super requirous on my time. And I was like, I need time during the day to do that, because it's a text-only RPG system. And I had, at the time, I had 10, 15, 12 players at a time every single day. So I'd have to do 10, 12 posts a day. I would have to check a whole bunch of spreadsheets and stuff. I was working all the time on this system, and even then, I was still running out of time. Yeah, yeah, and the other thing was before this most recent campaign, I was it. I was the only one. Hi, buddy. Hi, how you doing, man? Hi, welcome. I know who you are. We're doing a long stream, buddy. We're doing some Conquest of Elysium. Glad to have you here, man. Stick around for however long you want, but you're not required to stick around forever. I know where you're at, bud. Unless you have some questions. I'm just talking with our one buddy here, but, two heads, just as good as one. Alright, take care, homie. Come back when you get a chance. I already had my dinner, so I am filled up and ready to go. I will, my friend. You have a good one. Yeah. That is my buddy who helped me design the system and helped write some of my stuff. He actually helped me make a whole bunch of homebrew rules for 8th edition. I made an entire codex for the Blood Pact, and he was the co-author of it. And he helped me out with a lot of the balancing, and we play tested it as well together. But he's one of my long-term buddies. I'm glad he's in here to say hi. But yeah, he's really, really smart. He's very good at the game. He's a Mechanicus player, and he's also yeah, he's a great guy. He's also a super smart guy in real life outside of Warhammer. But he helped with the Mechanicus video a lot. I went to him and I was like throwing a bunch of ideas at him, and he was incredibly helpful. It feels so good to know that I have all these people on like different servers or different friend groups who are all kind of Warhammer adjacent people, so they all know the setting, they all know my preferences, so to speak, with like chaos stuff, and so I knew that they would be the first people to jump on and help out with this whole YouTube endeavor. And it's been a real pleasure. It's been beyond surreal to see like person that commented on your video, or person that liked your video or saved it or downloaded it. It's been really a wild ride, even for like the last. Oh my goodness, what are you? An Athun. What in God's name is that? Receive traits from their aquatic fathers, such as gills, scales, or just being gray and slimy. Oh, so these are mind flayers. Cool! Free mind flayer! I am taking you. We are friends now. Alright, this is going to be an impossible fight, but let's give it a shot. Alright, keeping it slow here, I just want to talk about these guys. The Horror Helmet! These ones are cool. And then he also has Gauntlets of Power, so he's got 9 strength, hella strength, lots of XP, lots of magic resistance, lots of armor. Vampires in this game are like, they're like biblically accurate vampires. They're super scary. They have great spells. And then like even their basic weapons, they're just immune to everything. They have immortality as a spell. So yeah. These little guys are not going to be a problem. However, I think with all the heavy infantry, I think we should be good. Yeah, they're the same in Dominions. Yeah, I like the fantasy way that Illwinter does all of their enemies. They kind of have like a classic first edition D&D mindset. But yeah, here's the thing. I try my absolute best in all of the comments to never say anything negative. Like, I will never outright say you're wrong, or I'll never outright say, this isn't a good idea, or this is incorrect. Yeah, the generic D&D vibes. It's lovely, and it's really cool. Also, I managed to sleep the vampire, and I think I actually can kill him. But the reason that I appreciate the engagement, I really do. The comments are great, and honestly, nothing makes me happier than, like, waking up and seeing 5 or 6 YouTube comments. I never thought, I never thought before this that it would be so helpful or nice feeling to me to be like, oh, someone sent a comment or someone said something on your video. But now waking up, it's almost like some people's like good morning text. And it's oh my god, he's dead. Oh my god, I'm alive. I lost my commander though. I think I lost all my commanders. Oh, I think I lose. Oh, I won though. I won that fight. No. No. Oh, I'm gonna lose after I went through all that. Oh, no. Son of a biscuit. Did it freeze? Oh. Yeah, no commander left. Damn. Damn. But yeah, sorry, just continuing here. Continue on. But yeah, the engagement is great, but it's such a pleasure. I try not to ever say to anyone, you're wrong or I disagree. I just kind of squeeze around their idea, and I try and fit it into the cohesive whole. Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, that's because I wake up kind of early because I have really late work. So, alright, sorry, I wake up kind of late because I have work that goes late. So, I upload a video at 2 a.m. and then I sleep until 10. That's why I'm so late to get them in. But yeah, it's great to have those conversations, and I think even if we disagree, like we had that whole thing with Wraithbone under the Eldar video, and I think that was one of the best conversations yet, because it was not only teaching me something that I didn't know, but it was an opportunity to tell someone who was, reasonable, and we were able to create a dialogue on what we both thought, and then we could find a place where we converged and had an agreement. And that, in my opinion, dead guy, that, in my opinion, is the whole point of this. Like, I'm not doing this to enforce my opinion on you guys. I don't care to do that. My opinion is not so well educated or so impressive that anyone should really take it as gospel. I'm just giving my 2 cents with the idea of, well, I want to bring everything down to the realism level. I want to bring it down to as close to the logic of real life as we possibly can, while keeping it, fantasy-esque. Taking a little bit of the high out of the high fantasy and just making it sci-fi. Bolt of Unlife, not bad. But Finger of Death and Black Cloud are better. Alright. So, big advantage with this guy is that he could just randomly raise a bunch of dead people. So I have my Citadel here. I'm just trying to think of what to do, because we're clearly on an island in the middle of somewhere. And I don't want to lose everything. Okay. I think I could kill a moose. I'm fairly confident in the death of this moose. There we go. Yeah. The great thing about the undead dude is he can just summon corpse. Yeah, that's that's the thing I was saying. I was like, the market, quote unquote, is oversaturated for people who read from the books and kind of glorify in the crazy stuff, or read the books or read articles or anything like that and kind of go, guys, look at this, guys, look at that, believe this, and I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about this from a realistic point of view. How would it actually work? And I think one of my favorite things is the idea that all Imperial books, or all books written from the Imperial perspective, are inherently propaganda. So every Marine book is automatically lying to you because it's written or approved by the Inquisition, which means that it is Imperial propaganda. I am probably going to lose. I forgot the dwarves are heavily resistant to magic. Come on, boys. Push them back. Nope, we're not winning. Yeah, Oculus Imperial. There are a lot of good ones. I myself don't watch as many just like generic YouTube channels for Warhammer as I once did. Now that I have one, I don't need to anymore. Caveman. Now that I have one, I don't need to anymore. But the other thing is just, well, I disagree with a lot of their takes, especially now, because one of the things that I really dislike about a lot of the Warhammer channels now is that they are super clout chasey, with Warhammer becoming more and more in vogue. Every video is, did you see in Space Marine 2 how the Cadians have purple eyes? And I'm like, tourist. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like, did you see in The Infinite and the Divine, this book that came out 5 weeks ago so I can maximize the amount of hype that I have and draw in more viewership? Yeah. Yeah, the game is pretty simple. If you played Warhammer 1, you know how Warhammer 2 is gonna go. Which isn't a bad thing. I played Warhammer 1. I thought it was a great game. Yeah? Yeah, it reuses a lot of things from the first game, but it does them, in my opinion, with a lot less grace, so to speak. So, how, how do I explain that? Pretty basically, I mean that when Chaos was introduced in Space Marine 1, you weren't expecting it. None of the, like, advertisement or anything was at all about it, and there wasn't really any super obvious detail about, like, oh, Chaos is involved. That wasn't really the point. But in Space Marine 2, it's like, ostensibly, because Chaos is there is the reason why a lot of people got the game, or the reason why a lot of them were so interested in getting the game. Which, you know, not a bad thing. Chaos doesn't have as much material behind it as Loyalists do, especially the Thousand Sons. Honestly, ever since Magnus came back, I'm kind of shocked that Thousand Sun players haven't been screaming for more for more representation. Yeah, yeah, you definitely have a solid point there, and I think that another reasonable point would be, in my opinion, that they should have stuck with Tyranids for a little bit longer and just made the game longer. You know, some people were complaining about it being too short. I don't think that I would complain about it being too short as much as I would complain about it just being the length that it was. Because it seemed to me from a lot of people's reviews that they were expecting more. And yeah, the reason the Tyranids don't get to be the threat is because most people see them as an absolutely unbeatable enemy. So when people, you know, see a game that has Tyranids in it, they're just kind of like, well, they're either going to be artificially making them weaker, or they're going to be absolutely unstoppable, and this game isn't going to be all that fun. But I mean, that's to a degree, that's just a mental thing. Yeah, yeah. Dawn of War 2 does beg to differ, but Dawn of War 2 is also Dawn of War. They don't make games how they used to at all. They do not make Dawn of War anymore. Or they don't make the same quality. I mean, think about all the games that have been trying to emulate Dawn of War. All the Genesis games, a lot of the 40K Gladius. Oh, what was that weird one? The Inquisitor. Yeah, Inquisitor Martyr. All of those tried to emulate that style, and they have pretty much universally failed. Or at least they're not as good as they could have been. Now, I've played a lot of those games, especially I recently bought Inquisitor Martyr, and I was playing through it, and I'm like, this has some issues. Yeah. Yeah, it was. I think the StarCraft style was kind of what made it, but that's just my opinion. I think if it was, yeah, I'm definitely, the Pale ones are not great, I'm going to be honest. Uh, I think the Dawn of War style was what made it so good. Or sorry, the yeah, yeah, Gladius is bad Civ. And honestly, I was a little bit upset with how bad it was because I paid for that. I paid for that. No, no, you are perfectly right. Matter of fact, I would even say that it doesn't live up to most Civ games. I've seen, like, phone versions of Civ games that were better than Gladius. And, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like a lot of the issues that I had with Space Marine 2 are more stemming from the lore around Primaris Space Marines than really anything else. Yeah. Yeah, it is generic and it's almost painfully adequate. Like it's the most middest mid that ever midded, if you understand what I mean. Okay, what am I doing here? There's one, there's two, and there's three. See, the idea with the Romans is they're the Romans, so they win. That's how this works. Also, all of the factions felt super similar. There was, like, nothing all that specific or unique about any of them all that much. Hey, Merry Christmas! Welcome, happy to have you. We're big chillin' for a stream. Feel free to hang out with us. I'm having my lovely stream of consciousness, and now that I have you guys here, I can actually upload this. See, I wasn't gonna upload it if I didn't get anyone that I could talk to, but you guys have been absolutely great. And I am enjoying this glass of wine like crazy. Mmm. Got some hella legs on it. Jeffrey Drake. Do we have another son of the salamanders in here? Got another based salamander enjoyer? Do you also enjoy burning Eldar children alive, my friend? See, a perfectly legitimate reason to burn Eldar alive is that they're Eldar. A perfectly legitimate reason. Nothing at all wrong with burning Eldar alive. I would even argue that the Emperor would bless you if you set a craft world on fire. That's mean. That's really mean. I shouldn't say these things. We have a lot of Eldar friends. Guys, I don't hate them. I have... Yeah. See, I don't know. I'm not sure if have there been any direct conversations or, like, meeting between the Emperor, oh, like salamanders play Smurfs? Yes, he does steal all of their toys. See, I'm interested. Has there ever been a documented instance of the Emperor talking to an Eldar? I know there was one in the Heresy books at some point, but I don't think I've ever read it. And, to me, it seems like it would be a pretty interesting thing, because, the Emperor is ancient, but not as ancient as the Eldar as a race. He is one of the earliest humans, kind of that, proto-human psyker type deal. But yeah, also, yeah, salamanders play Smurfs. Sorry. I keep getting reminded every time I think of the salamanders of the Battle of Armageddon. And every single time I think about how the Warp Runners or the Ridge Runners or whatever Legio that was on Armageddon was basically almost held up in their entirety by the Salamanders. And the Salamanders were acting as their foot troops, or their, like, defenders. And they were protecting the evacuation of all of the mortals from... I think it was Hades' Hive, though it might have been another one. But whatever it is, that entire episode, that epoch of all the civilians managing to get out because the Salamanders and the Titans were working together, and kind of leaving the Black Templars out to dry. I found that very, very interesting. What's that, friend? Hi, welcome. Gun Tuna. Sorry. Gun Tuna. Ah, yes, tuna fish, but with recoil. Why was there no sight of the AdMech in Space Marine 2? Not even a mention of their military, even though they're on a Forge World for many of the missions. I have not played the game. I did not know it was on a Forge World. I think the best that you saw was there was that one conversation between a guardsman and a Magos, but I agree. The AdMech should absolutely have been more in evidence. The other thing is, I really hate when the Imperial Guard are treated as if they're all Cadians. The Cadian troops make up a vast number of troops. It is true, and they are deployed all over the galaxy, which is also true. But that does not mean that every single time that you see guardsmen, they are going to be Cadian. Matter of fact, I would actually argue that unless you're near the Eye of Terror, there's a pretty solid chance that there will be other regiments, even local regiments in the area, who you're more likely to see than Cadian. So yeah, I think the representation wasn't there, mostly because, well, you know, the name sells. Having the Cadians there, that matters for the story because they're Cadians. Having, say, some random unnamed regiment, or even a named regiment that isn't super popular. Here, I have a whole list of unpopular named regiments if you'd like. It's like 45 regiments long. But essentially, the reason why they're not as well represented is not only because the Mechanicus weapons are kind of screwy technology-wise, and it would be hard to balance in the game, in my opinion. There's a reason why we don't see what certain weapons look like in animation and games, because yeah, no, it doesn't make a lot of sense for no AdMech to be on the Forge World. I think the best excuse for that would be to say, well, they're all at the front line defending the Forge, right, guys? But, yeah, obviously that's a cop-out. But I think the reason that they weren't included is literally just because people don't know how to treat their technology, and game developers can't be asked. Like, they can't be bothered with. Yeah, there is a suspicious lack of Skitarii, and a lack of, yeah, also, the Titan from Space Marine 1, the fact that it has caused so much controversy as, like, an unidentifiable pattern of Titan, I find very funny. I find it very funny, because it threw everyone for a loop, and I'm sitting here like, guys, why do all Titans have to look the same? You realize that a Baneblade from Lucius and a Baneblade from Mars look nothing the fuck alike, right? Like, we're pretending that all of the AdMech use the same designs? Are you crazy? They're all using different design philosophies, guys. Not to mention they're working with different tech levels and with different levels of specialization. Yeah, but the picture in the book... Yes. You have a very fair point. You're right. I should just close my channel because the picture says that it's not the same. You have a wonderful counterpoint there, and I think funnily enough, that is the counterpoint that most people would give me to that statement, unironically. That's the best part of it. That's actually the excuse they would give. But yeah, I think people have identified that now as a Lucius pattern Warlord Titan, which honestly, based Lucius representation, I'm all for it. Lucius is not a popular Forge World, in my opinion. I don't see it very often. But yeah, I think the reason that they're not there is mostly because of the weapons. Hi! I'm so glad to have you. I'm beyond glad to have you. The game is Conquest of Elysium 5. It's a little bitmap, like, Civ-style game. Ooh, that was an all-gear. What can they do? I have no idea. Farsight and acute senses. It's a guy with good eyes. That's what he is. Alright. Civ 4. You are part of my army now. Yeah. We're talking. We are discussing lots of stuff, Space Marine 2, things like that. But yeah, I think be-all, end-all, the reason why the AdMech don't show up in a lot of games that have high fidelity. Like, they're in 40k Mechanicus. They're in that, but a lot of the weapons in that don't exist in actual Warhammer. They're kind of just custom. A lot of them are built out of comboing Necron and other tech. And they just kind of mix and match the animations, and, it's a really basic game, like this one, so they don't have to worry about it being super high definition so that the Mechanicus guys will start reeing in binary and screaming at them about it. So yeah, I would say that's the main reason why the Mechanicus don't get more representation in games. Yeah, weird battle trophies and honors are one thing, but I think that Forges hold completely different, design philosophies. I talk about the Eldar philosophy and all that different stuff. I think that between Forges, due to either lack of technical skill, lack of material, or intensity of conflict, they will absolutely be ending up looking totally different. Again, with Titans, they're very fastidious about them. That's the main thing. They don't want them to look haphazard. And let's be real, if even Chaos Titans look relatively similar to their original form after 10,000 years, it wouldn't be unreasonable for you to identify a Loyalist Titan, even after a lot of fights. I don't think it'll have a huge amount of difference. If it was on extended conflict, if it was on a crusade or something, and the Mechanicus didn't have the ability to bring it back, for example, there are times where Legio Invicta is a very good example of this. Technically, they're not really a great example, but they're a great example of how this could happen. If a Forge were conquered while the Legio was away, or Legio, I need to stop saying Legio, Legio was away, theoretically that could result in the Legio, or the Legio, receiving less upkeep, which would then result in a lot more, patchwork solutions. And the thing is that that's not going to last forever, because if a Forge is taken over, what is the Legion going to do first and foremost? They're going to go back and try and capture their Forge again, because without the Forge, they're going to have difficulty resupplying their weapons and power. Not necessarily power, but, repairing things. I think that could be a situation where you would see a lot of basically, things bolted on or things fixed in place. That was a bad idea. But things fixed in place to essentially make up for battle damage. But even then, I think it would be very important to say that it's not like the Mechanicus do this in a slapdash manner. They are very particular when it comes to how this is actually done. They're not going to leave a whole bunch of metal scaffolding or a bunch of damage obviously out on the surface. They're going to cover it and paint it. And in my opinion, that's one of the reasons why paint is so prevalent on the Titans. It's to cover up battle damage. Because, machine guns do battle damage to Titans. It's not significant, and it's not really all that telling. But the Mechanicus, they're prima donnas. They don't want their Titans going out looking anything but their best. How many Titan Legions got cut off from their Forge when the Great Rift happened? Probably a good number, but probably not all. That would be my reasoning. Because, oh good god, the Hoburgs. We're getting attacked by frickin' gnomes. And they're killing us, that's the worst thing. Probably a lot. The thing I would say about that is that in the Galactic North, there isn't necessarily a ton of super high-grade Forge Worlds. A lot of things are in the Galactic South. Not entirely true. There are lots of examples of good Forge Worlds in the North. But in terms of where the Rift actually opened, I'm not sure who they'd be cutting off. But, again, probably a lot of Demi-Legions got lost. Or started having to, move around and go a great distance to deal with that. I'm not really sure what the protocol is for that. So, if you don't know, my entire channel, Archon being, Archon Nadzibar, Archon Nadzibar, the idea is that this channel is entirely based after before the opening of the Eye and after the Horus Heresy. I won't really address anything outside of that unless it's a very specific video that a lot of people want. And even then, you're probably going to have to hammer it into my face in order for me to do it, because I'm trying to keep that theme. Because eventually, I'm going to start involving other things from the Sabbat Worlds Crusade, because that is my personal specialty, Ark and Nadzibar. He's my boy. He's literally the representation of my channel. He is everything that I am intending or striving to be, so to speak, with this channel. So that's pretty much my reasoning for that. I don't know. That would be my answer. I don't know. Probably a few. Probably not entire legions though. Just because generally entire legions won't be out on Crusade all that much. I am not letting you take my capital. You are going to get killed. Ooh, he has demons. Oh, I'm done. I could not fight the demons. Surprise, surprise. Let's go Dark Ages this time. Yeah. You guys have any questions about future videos? Because I know that today I'm doing this stream instead of talking about the next Xenos faction. I might take a 1 day off, other than today, just to get you guys your videos up to snuff. But I had plans to do all kinds of stuff. How many folks are we looking at now? Oh, we got the Wallflower. Hey, bud. You're the last one left. I know. Impressive. You stuck on for quite a while. We're very glad to have you. But yeah, there's a reason why the Orc video is not going to be up today, and it's because I'm doing this for fun, and because it's Christmas. And I am celebrating, and I do not really have time to do that right now. Let's do Priest King. Lorgar. Titans and Knights will be coming up next. I'd also like to add that. I did talk enough about Forges. But the other thing is the vote is really important. I'm super interested in how that's going to turn out, because we had a really tight fight for a while, I saw there, between fields and how do hives work. And I really like both of those concepts, but I think with fields, because of what happened today, with the Wraithbone thing, I actually might want to talk about materials as well as fields. Because fields would be a relatively short video, but materials and fields, that might be a little bit more reasonable for us all to get something out of. You know? Yeah. Something like that seems like a reason. Oh, there's only one of you. I think I could take you. And that's going to be a big city for me. Oh my gosh. So we got jungle warriors, we have tribal warriors, a tribal king, and... oh, goodness. Blessing, Incinerate, and Word of Power. Nice. Alright, let's kill a literal ghost. Oh, the process in STCs and how I think they work. Yeah, anything Imperium that isn't Space Marines. Sisters of Battle video? Ooh, that's tough. Oh, message retracted? Oh, thought process on STCs. Yeah. So, my thought process with STCs is essentially the way that they're described comes in two ways. The old-fashioned STCs, the one from way back before the Heresy, that are definitely from the Dark Age of technology, those seem to be like automated factories, literally entirely automatic and totally making everything from scratch. There are very few of those. In modern 40k, those are referred to as complete or whole STCs, and they are incredibly rare. In reality, I think a majority of STC tech doesn't necessarily tell you how to make something. So it won't have a blueprint for a tank. It will have maybe a blueprint, but the big thing that it does have is it gives you the design for a machine. What does this machine do? The machine makes a very specific shape with a very specific input. So, if I was making a tank, and I had parts of an STC, it might tell me, you need to make a CNC machine, and then I design and make a CNC machine from scratch because the STC tells me how, or even it might do it itself, or it might just tell me how. or I might be able to reverse engineer it and figure out how from the STC, and then that makes a piece of technology lost from the Dark Ages. That's how I think the STCs work. Essentially, they make things piecemeal, or they tell me how to make machines that I can then use to make things piecemeal. So, the idea that getting a new STC gives you a whole new design, in my opinion, is a little bit ambitious. Because back in the day, an STC would be like an entire factory, and all that the Mechanicus are really finding are like little tiny bits and pieces of what was originally factories. So imagine if you walked into a tank factory from the 30s or 40s, where they're doing everything manually, and it's like, here's a welding torch, here's a bunch of raw steel, here's a conveyor belt that moves along the material. Each of those individually would be something that an STC tells you how to make. So it would tell you, here's how you make a welding torch. Here's how you make a machine that bends and folds metal in a specific way that you need for this process. Now, obviously, it gets a lot more complicated than that when we come to more complex items, but something like a CNC bath, something like a giant heater or something like that, anything of that nature where it's essentially taking a piece of technology that did exist back in the day and breaking it down into its constitutional parts, that's what the STC does. And finding a complete STC, that not only allows you to create all the different pieces of the piece of technology, so instead of an engine or a gun or a piece of hull or something that's important to the design, it would allow you to be like, oh, I can pump out entire X vehicles. I can pump out entire, let's say, entire chimeras from scratch, and all I have to do is feed it in some metal, some chemicals, and things like that, and it will make it for me. There's very few of those. When the Mechanicus say that they have STC tech, or something is an STC vehicle, in reality what it really means is that they require or that they use STC tech to make it. So you'll see this a lot with engines. That's really the most common one, is the multi-fuel Gryphon Vulcanor engine. And that will be an STC tech design because it uses STC technology. It uses one of those machines that an STC has made to make a super efficient or powerful engine. And that's it. That's the power. That's the ability that it has. So that's how they work, in my opinion. And I think that there are ways that you could argue that it does different things. And obviously some STCs are different. There are ones that we know that make things completely from scratch. So there's an STC for the Men of Iron that is whole and complete in the Gaunt's Ghost series. It literally just starts pumping them out on its own. However, you can't make something from nothing. This is a very important point I like to make with STCs, because people just say, well, once you have the STC, it just goes forever. They are machines. They require maintenance. They require careful operation so they don't damage themselves. And more importantly than anything, really, they require inputs. They require metal, chemicals, treated pieces. Some of them might even require parts. And even the bigger ones, even the ones that are more whole, that can produce items almost on their own, they might still need to be put inside of something. So if you had an STC that made an entire engine, for example, well, you still have to make a chassis, you still have to make like a central bar, you have to mount it onto the vehicle, and the vehicle might have to be made the old-fashioned way. Old-fashioned way being essentially, make the traditional manner, make it using production techniques. Yeah, theoretically you could reverse engineer that stuff. Lord of War. Yeah, theoretically you could reverse engineer that stuff. I wouldn't say that it's easy to do, though. Mostly because of the fact that those blueprints are pretty complicated, and many of them are downright arcane or impossible for the Mechanicus to copy. Not always the case, obviously, but there will be cases where the Mechanicus just go, I don't know, man. They'll try, and plenty of times, the reason that a lot of 40k vehicles look so darn weird is because the Mechanicus essentially took a good old-fashioned college try at it, and they were like, good enough for government work, let's give it to the Guard or something. And that's the other thing. People often think that, well, every single piece of technology is STC tech. This is bullshit. This is quite frankly bullshit, and it pisses me off because it makes it seem like your local planet couldn't make a tank or couldn't make an APC or a machine gun or artillery. Absolutely dead frickin' wrong. And the other thing is, yeah, referring to what you said, what is considered complex technology, right? My classic one is a combustion engine complex technology? Does that mean that no world in the Imperium can make cars? Does that mean that I can't set up a Ford motor factory in the Imperium? Do I need specialty Mechanicus representatives to set up a gosh darn car factory, essentially? I would say that that's a little bit ridiculous. And oh my god, would that horribly affect the economy of so many worlds. Just imagine that for a second. Every single thing that you make, let's say that you make luxury automobiles on your Hive world, which is not an uncommon thing in the Imperium. You know, there are cars, there are private means of transportation. By the way, also, some people assume that everything in 40k is, like, public transit or everything is authoritarian, like, organization. That's just because the only thing people know are Hive cities. And we really don't talk a lot about the other types of worlds. But I could see industrial worlds, manufactorums, all these types of things, making their own vehicles, making their own weapons, locally designed stuff that, while it is primitive or less technologically complex or advanced than the true sci-fi equipment that the Mechanicus have, excuse me, hiccups, that the Mechanicus have, it's not bad, it's not terrible, it's not some sort of useless, sub-quality, everything is terrible thing. They can be pretty legit. And my best example of this would be AX Cardinal. AX Cardinal has an entire World War I style conflict going on for 4 decades. 4 decades in a world that doesn't have complex electricity, that doesn't have radio, that doesn't have any of this complex electronics or any of these fancy equipment, and they're essentially producing things at a 1910s level of technology, and yet they develop tanks, they develop cavalry, they develop better rifles, better artillery, better gas weapons. Why? The human spirit is unbowed. And once you're in that life or death conflict, granted it's a civil war in AX Cardinal's case, but once you're in a conflict, the Mechanicus aren't going to yell at you unless you're using Mechanicus technology inappropriately. You know, if I'm using something that the Mechanicus hold a claim to, and I'm using it wrong, or I'm using it improperly, yeah, I could expect some repercussions. But, yeah, yeah, so that's the thing. I don't think it's illegal. I don't think it's illegal at all. I think it's frowned upon, especially when you use AdMech tech to do it. But I think that there's a certain cutoff point. So, a world could make a new tank, but as long as it didn't use the kind of patented Lehman Russ parts, or it didn't bastardize some sort of STC design to make it, that would be tech heresy. That would be something protected. Yeah, I would agree with that. Anything beyond mid-Cold War tech, yeah, I would agree with that. You know, that's where I would draw a line as like, okay, that's too complex to reasonably do. I would agree with that. But just in that point, you know, to go a little bit further, you can understand how certain things are going to be sacrosanct. If you ripped apart a Lehman Russ and you were using that as a regular civilian to try and develop something, that's a big no-no. But if you were taking apart a local design that wasn't sacrosanct or wasn't holy to the Mechanicus, are the Mechanicus gonna care? It's your design. You made it. It's indigenous. Are they gonna give a shit? Probably not, unless it's something that, unless it's something that's a direct threat of getting into the hands of Chaos. The other thing, one of the reasons why I think that saying all the tech is limited is a little short-sighted, is because how do the Mechanicus actually accept innovation? You know, they don't accept innovation from within their own ranks, or they try not to because it's, sacrosanct, it's bad. You want to try and use the blessed machine to accomplish things, but what if someone on a random planet comes up with a more efficient engine? It's not impossible, and it's not technically illegal. What if? Are you going to kill them? No, it seems more likely to me that you would employ them. You would make sure that nobody on that planet takes the design, obviously, but if it's up to the level of the Mechanicus to design it and to make it where they're like, okay, this isn't actually too bad. Maybe we hire that guy or we pay him for his design, Good job, buddy. I'm taking that. Yeah, so discovering new STCs and developing tech they already have. Yes, I would agree with that. But I would also say that that outside of the Mechanicus, it is not unheard of for somebody to be messing around with technology that is, that pre-Cold War or Cold War era tech. Not future tech, not anything hyper forward-thinking, and probably nothing that is STC capable. So the Mechanicus would look down on it as kind of primitive technology. But yeah, the slow development idea, and I also think the idea that a Forge world isn't doing development, like a Forge wouldn't be like, all right, everybody, we're gonna sit down and brainstorm the next design. No, they're based a lot of their stuff on production, on their economy, on war production and maximizing efficiency. They don't have time as a collective to go and make a whole million types of prototypes and designs. No. But I believe that there are a lot of people who cut against the grain. I hate to use him as an example, but Call would be my go-to example. Someone who, under the auspices and protection of the Mechanicus cult, they slowly grind away at innovation, and they eventually come up with a new design or a new, minor variation on a design. It can't be something super major necessarily, but yeah, I think it's more believable that over time these things are developing. Yeah, yeah, not an F-35, but yes to T-55s. I agree with that. World War II tech is basically going to be easy enough for any competent manufactorum to create. So things like machine guns, bombs, explosives, basically any medium tank from the Second World War and probably a good bit beyond. It's not a impossible ask, and it certainly isn't something that they would be like, oh no, you made a Panzer II! We're throwing you in jail! That's beyond ridiculous. That's to the point of, parody. I might throw you in jail, but but I don't think the Mechanicus would. Especially, the other thing is, the Mechanicus have representation everywhere. Developing things under their radar for mass production that's going to undercut them, they're not going to look happily on that. They might sanction you or be like, hey, can you, not intentionally make stuff that is undercutting our design philosophy or undercutting our business dealings, essentially. But yeah, to me, the idea that the Mechanicus are providing for the entire Imperium all of their technology, no matter what, any distance, any type, anywhere, is impossible. And the Mechanicus having all of this design opportunity, with independent designers and with all this, industry in the Imperium, and just giving that up because of dogma is not reasonable to me either. They certainly wouldn't be happy about it, and I think there's been lots of times where the Mechanicus have silenced or killed people because of them being too smart, essentially, and, cramping the Mechanicus' style. But, yeah, I don't think it would be reasonable for them to just reject every single piece of innovation that may even be helpful to them, not everyone's out to get the Mechanicus, even though they probably should be, because the Mechanicus are the bad guys. I'm kidding. An Oziotl. Is this a demon cat? Yeah. No, yeah, 100%. 100%. I guarantee you, somewhere out there. And this is the other thing. With the Mechanicus making stuff for Space Marines, Yeah, the P-1000 rat. Ah, yes, I too want to break the roads that I drive upon. There is nothing more based than breaking the roads. Um, and also, being a giant target. But yeah, there's definitely. And here's the other thing: I don't even think it needs to be a tech priest. I think that legit, there might be planets that just have a tradition of armored warfare. And you might say, how the hell? Back during the original Crusade, there were plenty of planets that had militant traditions. They might have lost it during Old Night. They might have lost a lot of their technology, but World War II being a giant target has never stopped the Imperium. You are so damn right. You don't even know it. Or maybe you do. But I actually, I work on a lot of homebrew worlds, kind of filling in ideas for planets that have names but no lore. Especially for Corrupt Contenders, where I have to make entire sectors and give every world its own background and lore sheet. A massive pain in the ass to make 40 to 50 Imperial worlds for every campaign, and make them down to like the population and the industry type and their culture and stuff. But it's a really fun exercise when I can do stuff like, I'm going to take medieval Hungary and I'm going to turn it into an imperial planet because, hey, that's just a feudal world. Or I'm going to take 1940s European country X and then I'm just going to turn it into an imperial world and be like, boom, they can make tanks from World War II. Why? Because technology, man. It's not impossible. Yeah. I think that giant target thing is pointed at the Baneblade, and I will take no Baneblade slander. Yes, I I I don't approve of this idea publicly. I don't approve of this idea publicly. Wink, wink. I think that's a terrible idea publicly. Wink, 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 wink. I don't think that's. Yeah. Oh God. I mean, you know, it reminds me so much because I made a planet that was like they all that they did was make like World War II Hungarian tanks because I am obsessed with Hungarian tanks. I approve. Put it on a T-shirt. Yes. Uh, one, one day, I will be able to talk with a Mechanicus fan, and I will talk them into agreeing that X or Y technology is allowed to be used by the average person, and then I will intentionally go and design a bunch of stuff, and be like, it's technically canon that this is allowed. I'm allowed to do this. It's also funny because, back when Warhammer was getting created in the 80s, people hadn't really come around to modern combat all that well, so they really understood tanks in a World War II concept. So, my favorite thing is on all of these lore pages, especially for the Leman Russ, and for some of the tanks like the AT-70 and the AT-83. God, I need to talk about the AT-70 and the AT-83. Why have I not talked about that yet? Oh my lord, I'm an idiot. They're my favorite frickin' tanks. Ah! I never talk about them, but my favorite thing about them is because they're such an it's because 40K is such like an old genre or such an old origin point back during the Cold War. The Leman Russ, on its stat sheet, it says, yes, created with the most advanced torsion bar suspension. And I'm like, bro, torsion bar suspension was made in the frickin' 30s. Why are you pretending like that's a futuristic concept? It's not even that good. There's better suspension for tanks. Why do you pretend that torsion bars are so good? I think it really is just that the people who made it weren't as big of a tank nerd as I am, but if I'm being honest, it would be very difficult to be more of a tank nerd than I am. It might be downright impossible at this point. I am almost famous for my addiction to weird armored vehicles. I wonder why I like the Chaos tanks so much. But yeah, I will, oh my god, I will go over the AT-73, the Steg, all of those, like, real-time vehicles that have, that come from the Sabbat Worlds Crusade. Thank you, Dan Abnett, for making all of my loring worthwhile. Yeah, marginalism within 40k, the margin lore is just delicious. It's tasty. It's so good. Such good stuff. Especially when you can use it to justify your theories, like I do about 95% of the time. You know, I'm not going to say that I'm any better than anyone. I do go into books and I look for specific quotes and I look for specific things. One of the big ones is actually I was chasing after the Kimura. Not sure if you know what those are. Does anyone know what the Kimura are? They are a specific type of possessed, who are still, they are human possessed that act like Galvorbak. Essentially, they're able to swap from human to monster and back and retain their sanity the entire time, which is downright frickin' unique amongst any force in the entirety of 40k. Yeah, they're like the wardens of making sure that nobody undercuts their business model. So they're almost like a predatory company plant, to a degree. Why am I not able to cast Ritual? It says can be cast anywhere. What the fuck? Okay, well, whatever. But yeah, they're spread out everywhere. But the Kimura, there's a couple of things that define them, and there are some confusing pieces of lore about them. For example, and this is like super deep lore. So if you don't give a shit, feel free to check out. But this is one of my big focuses for the Blood Pact is where do the Kimura come from, and why do they act the way that they do? Because the Kimura, one of them describes how he remembers fighting a planetary defense force during the early days of the Crusade. The Kimura are... So, again, remember that. The early days of the Crusade. This is at least 70 or 80 years before the time that he's talking, or before the time that he's remembering this. So that means, bare minimum, he's 70 or 80 years old, plus however old he was, as an adult during that period. So he's probably easily 120, 130 years old as a warrior. And he's remembering how he used to be outfitted with these, like, Gene Stealer type mutations that would allow him to bounce bullets, essentially. And he was like, yes, I've been changed. Now I'm designed to fight against las guns. I have these patches of, like, thermally conductive gel, like some Gene Stealers have, or like some Tyranids have. And he's like, yes, I've changed over this period. But here's the kicker. If he remembers that, if he remembers the early days of the Crusade almost 120 years ago, or if he's almost 120 years old, almost 70 years ago at that point, how does he believe that Anaquinar Sek is the person who created the Kimura? Sek is not around during the first few years of the Crusade. That either implies that the Kimura were pre-Sek, and they've been lied to, and they believe that Sek is the one who created them, or they believe that Sek is the one who raised them, but they are not the only Kimura. That is a really interesting theory I have, because there is this logical dissonance between, hold up, when were these guys actually around? Where did they come from, and how long have they been in battle? Because he claims to be almost 130 years old. Or, sorry, almost 120 years old. Based on when the Crusade starts and when he remembers fighting these PDF troops. And Sek doesn't join up with the Blood Pact for at least a little bit. Because Sek is some sort of Imperial. I theorize that he is a traitor Inquisitor. Because it would make sense with how he operates. And the kind of demagoguery that he does. I think that he's a traitor Inquisitor. But even if that's not the case, he is still an incredible battlefield commander and Zechian follower who clearly wasn't around for as long as somebody like Erlock Gar. So what I think is that the Kimura are a natural thing that can be done via chaos that Nadzibar discovers, and then he essentially gifts that technology to Sek, and then he brainwashes his own Kimura to believe that they're either older than they think they are, or they have some sort of holdover of their knowledge, or he just actually gives them Kimura that he had on hand, and he tells Sek that there can never be more than X of them because he wants to keep the number of Kimura low. Essentially for his own protection. He doesn't want some underling to theoretically outstrip or endanger him by having these elite troopers around, so he basically lies to Sek, or he tells him, you can't make more than 88 of these guys, because I want to keep a lock on that knowledge, and Sek then lies to his own troops and says, I am the one who created you, I have the technology and the magic to create you, you serve me. Because that's the only reasoning, and the other thing is we have examples that there are more Kimura than the original ones in Anarch say that there are. They say that there are only 8 times 8, 64 of them. They say that there have only ever been 64, and that there will only ever be 64. If that is the case, why in the Serpent and the Saint do we see other mutants who have the same modifications as the Kimura, and these modified mutants come from the same xenotech that the Kimura describe? They come from a xenotech pod that seems to produce these creatures. And I'm like, somebody is lying here. Something is off about this story, because there are too many inconsistencies for there to be only 64 of these guys. The other reason is that all 64 of them die in that book. And I'm like, there is no way in hell you just killed off a completely unique, totally special Chaos unit in one frickin' book. I would be so mad at you. But, yeah. My insane rambling aside, I will go into the Kimura at some length later on, but that will be a full-on research essay, because I have spent literal years researching this issue. Goodness, sorry, I've been ignoring chat. Building a world for the only war game. Oh, yo, if you have that idea, you should really look into Straight Silver or into AX Cardinal. Because they have a civil war going on for 40 years that there's no contact with the Imperium either. So I'd highly recommend looking into that book. It's a great book. It is in the Gonsko series, so if you don't like that, maybe skip it. But it's an example of that happening, and it's one of those things where, like, there's developing a lot of tech, and it's very cool. Yeah, that's a pretty solid way of killing tech priests. I support killing your local tech priest. No chaos involvement whatsoever. I support killing your local tech priest. You should absolutely shoot your local tech priest in the back of the head. Yeah, chaos boys. We worship. We worship. Oh goodness, this is actually a pretty long game, if I'm being honest. I'm kind of surprised I've lasted this long. Oh man, is it like a limited technology campaign, or are you just doing it with a Civil War theme? The worst possible nightmare has occurred, bros. I am out of wine. Millions must suffer. I've run out of wine. I don't know how many of you guys are interested in an orc video. I mean, I know a lot of people are orc fans, but I personally don't know how many of you would be like, ah, yeah, definitely do a full-on orc one. Oh goddamn, yeah. The Death Corps are absolutely the people for the job there, 100%. 100%. The Death Corps are psychotic, quite frankly, and they're not very not very personable, which makes them a lot harder to indoctrinate or manipulate. Not impossible. You can manipulate, and you can theoretically also indoctrinate the Death Corps, but it's not easy, and it requires significant time and probably a lot of chaos bullshit as well. Ooh, an old weapon master. Cool. Yeah. I'm gonna get my way out here. Probably gonna stream for 1 more hour. Are you guys thinking I should probably post this as a video or no? Because I'm cool with either, but like I didn't know if people were actually interested in that. Aw. You know, you gotta love some solid gassing civilians. Um, it's just a tried. Yeah, let people hear the rants. Oh, these are rants to you. I appreciate that. That's actually a legit compliment. I really do appreciate that. I I don't I try not to be too crazy Dave with these. But you know, if you just leave my brain to roll on the treadmill for a couple hours, I will eventually roll out some fun stuff. You think people will want to watch it? All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, but yeah, what about an orc video? Do you guys think that it's worth doing an orc video? Because I looked up the weapons, and while there are a lot of cool options, um, a lot of them are kind of based on vehicles, or they kind of break down into that whole like it's a stubber or it's a X extant imperial weapon that the orcs just use their brain to create. How much more armor resilient do you think the AdMech troops are compared to guardsmen with their bionics on top of their armor? Bionics aren't actually all that durable. I mean, they are more durable than flesh, but I would not confuse bionics for armor. If they were full augmetics, that's a different thing. But the bionics that make up the Mechanicus Scutari usually they will have some sort of function. So they will have a hydraulic in them, and like any other hydraulic, while they are made of metal, which is tougher than flesh, they can get damaged, and you can't kind of like half use them. With a machine, it's on or it's off, you know? If you break a hydraulic, like a hydraulic pusher in your arm, you can no longer push your arm. So I think that while they come with some unique downsides, the Scutari having mostly metal bodies, on top of wearing some body armor like their cuirasses and helmets, it makes them way more durable against lower grade weapons. So, where a guardsman can still be killed pretty easily with something like say a stub pistol or something like that, you know, something basic that you could still like put up to the unarmored parts of him and shoot, and you could still kill him. I don't think the bionics have much to do with their resilience. Again, they are still metal, so they do have some effect on how tough the Scutari are, but I think it's a little bit overstated. I think the fact that they're actually just armored in metal does a lot more for their resistance and resilience than any of their bionics. The one exception is that a lot of their internal organs are replaced with bionics, and that does make a big difference. The fact that they can't get lung shot, they can't get gut shot, they can't get hit in the heart very easily, and that those areas are protected by metal, or at least they are defended by metal, so to speak. Even if it's not a lot, it can help with resisting shock, it can help keep them alive, and while it may not stop rounds, it may keep them alive or keep them stable enough to be fixed. So, yes, they are more durable, compared to the average guardsman. The average guardsman in your mind is probably the light infantry version of guardsman in my mind. But, basic Cadian light infantryman is going to be less armored, he's going to be more vulnerable, he's going to be a little bit more mobile than the Scutari, but he is less durable, has less constitution. Again, they are elite troops. The Scutari are elite, so they are definitely more durable, but in terms of just down to brass tacks, how does it make a difference? I would say that Bionics, Augmetics, and the Skitarii upgrade package are mostly related to keeping you from dying from things that could damage your internal organs, subverting things that could damage your internal organs like poison or gas or things like that, and then keeping you overall a little bit more protected against primitive weapons like axes, knives, bayonets, stub pistols, things like that. Sorry, next point. Just listening to you while I game prep. Yeah, yeah, they'll live forever and they'll be there until we're all cosmic dust. Yeah, I agree. That is a pretty legit reason to include them. I will get behind that, my friend. I can take you there, for sure. Do I dare fight a banshee? I think I do. I think I dare. All right, watch it literally murder my entire army. Okay, thank God it didn't kill everyone. Hey, Amulet of Anti-Magic. That's actually that's hella good. Magic isn't real, nerd. Bwom. Alright, and time to get some... I need some metal, like, so bad. I got no metal. Mechanicus, help me, I have no metal. Magistratum Mundanus from Black Pants Legion. Players are a bunch of random idiots who get selected by labor lottery to be local police. Yes! Based local police force! Some of my absolute favorite forces in 40k are random dipshit police. Yeah, I will definitely think about that. Again, I don't have as much time as I used to anymore to just sit around and listen to roleplay podcasts. I was thinking about making my own, because I do play a lot of D&D pretty consistently, and I just would have to ask my players about it, and of course you guys, because, you know, it matters what you want to see more than what I want to do. Or it matters more what you want to see than matters than what I want to do. Yeah, I'll probably continue with the orcs just to do a weaponry thing on them. I will likely talk a lot about how their weapons work in comparison to other factions. Just because that's just how it is with them. They really are a comparison faction. Deathcore Cavalry Officer. Oh, that's nice. Played by real cops. That's perfect, yeah. I feel like the local police in 40k are a bit closer to, like, Jump Out Boys in many cases in comparison to, like, regular policemen. So, you know, a lot less reading someone their rights and arresting them for speeding, and a lot more, huh? You're dealing drugs in my neighborhood? Die, heretic! See, that's the other thing. Local police are not arbites. And arbites, you know, I get the fact that a lot of people want them to be super common and be on every planet. If I'm being honest, there's probably only one Arbite on every planet, and he kind of works as the Supreme Court for that world. Like, who knows the Lex better than the Arbites? No one. Planetary Governor might have more authority, but the Planetary Governor has not read the Lex, the law of the Imperium, nearly as much as an Arbite will have. So, while I think that there may be one, like some old Arbite officer on Imperial Worlds, I think they're way more uncommon than people think they are. Or than they're portrayed to be, I suppose. Oh, this dude has lightning abilities. Cool. Yeah, the Death Corps are really popular. I've been asked like a couple dozen times now, hey, can you do X specific regiment? And I'm not sure how I would approach doing a regiment, you know? Like, it doesn't fit into any of the armies, or in any of the army archive or adversaries types. I think I could... Yeah, that's about right. I think I could fit it into the adversaries video or the armies video where I go through every single regiment type and I kind of highlight specific standout examples like, yes, here's a light infantry regiment. Let's talk about the fucking Cadian Light Foot, or X or Y regiment, you know, the more popular ones that we have lots of detail on, and use them as examples. But the problem is, a lot of the regiments that people want are frickin' terrible examples. You know, there are no regiments like the Death Corps of Krieg. There are no regiments like the Cadians. They are given so much special treatment that they basically operate like zero other regiments in 40k. Like, there's nothing generic or communicable about them where I could be like, ah, yes, because the Cadians do something another regiment would. That literally they have nothing in common, nothing at all. Oh my god, I just got a wizard. Baller day. I have a wizard. What powers does he have? Heal, Divine Aura, and Divine Utterings. Baller. Yeah, patrol vehicles are Taurox, and their service pistols are 50 caliber revolvers. Yeah? Yeah? Wimzard, yes. A 50 caliber pistol is definitely one of those heavy stub revolvers. Basically a, what is it, a Desert Eagle in 12.7. Please don't die. Please don't die to wolves. Of all the things, please don't die to wolves. Yes, kill the wolves! Well, my wizard is dead, but my other wizard is alive. Yeah, yeah. I I am a big fan of, like, gunsmithing channels and stuff like that. For, you know, obvious reasons. Gun nerd. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, absolutely. No, it's perfectly reasonable. If there is something that, you know, really made you feel like that is just, like, the best possible game, and that's something that you want to inspire other people to do it, man. That is a very respectable reason to go ahead and do that. And, you know, the people that inspire us to play these games are the people who make up the majority of the fan base. Like, people often point at Adeptus Ridiculous or other... What in God's name was that? Or other kind of... I don't want to say showboaty influencer types, but things of that nature where they're a lot more... requirous of attention, of clicks, of all of that stuff, and then they'll use them as a reference for, like, oh, well, of course, if they're like that, the rest of the faction or the rest of the hobby must be that way. This is never the case, basically. But for those few who are really, really good... Huh? On the armies video? Yeah, they're 50 Action Express, but it's still 12.7. Not everything is 50 BMG. 50 AE is still a half-inch. Why didn't I talk about robots? Well, one, because I did the Servitor video right before that, and that talked about all of the robots. But the other reason is because the Mechanicus don't always use those when on the offensive. I did talk about combat servitors, and I did mention the robots. The reason I didn't talk about them a lot was because, again, I had gone over them, but also the main reason is because they don't form the majority of the AdMech armies. The AdMech armies aren't built like the Guard, where they're very uniform and they always have lots of support options. No, an AdMech army can consist almost entirely of Skitarii, which means that a majority of armies don't necessarily need to have, or won't always have, those robots handy. Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely. The Hive Gangers would be super big into having a 50 cal pistol, something like that. Wow, he just got killed by mushrooms. Imagine dying to mushrooms. Couldn't be everyone in the way of an Orc-Wa. Death by mushroom sounds like a terrible way to go. Yeah, I would agree. I would absolutely agree. I think death by mushroom is a very sad way to go. Yeah, and here's the other thing. A lot of people think all gangs are like Necromunda. And while I respect Necromunda for continuing to exist after all these years, I respect them, but yeah, most gangs are not to the level of Necromunda. Most of them are doing really basic stuff like messing around with people's, messing around with people's daily life. You know, basically inconveniencing others for a majority of their time. Yeah, but the thing is, a guard army that has infantry or tank isn't abnormal. It isn't unique or special. They are an armored regiment. They are designed to have tanks. The Mechanicus aren't regimented like that. Their forces aren't organized in that kind of specific way. They are much more give as you can type deals. You know, take it out of storage, have it available because you know how to use it, or because your Forge World makes a lot of it. Whereas with the Guard, if you're an armored regiment, you're not going to have a whole bunch of infantry. If you're an artillery regiment, you're not going to have a whole bunch of tanks. They're much more specific, and because they're a human faction that doesn't make most of their own equipment, you know, the Imperial Guard doesn't make all of their own las guns. Matter of fact, they don't make any of them, usually. Because they're not doing that, they don't get to really pick and choose all of that equipment. The AdMech do, and that was part of what I was trying to emphasize is, this is the core of their army, and then they have all these add-ons that they can pick in. Now, the Guard do have those add-ons, but a majority of them come from other factions. So, for example, they could have robots, or they could have titans or knights or any of that stuff, but it wouldn't be like, ah, yes, a knight has come to join us. We are now a knight regiment. This is not how that works. So that was what I was trying to emphasize with that. And that's why they weren't there as much. It's also because I did go over them in a previous video. Oh. Yeah, that's what I was referring to as, like, it's a give as you have type deal with the Mechanicus. So if you have a whole bunch of weird shit to throw it in. You know, it's available, do it. But I'm not going to say that it's in every single army, because it isn't. Yeah, so that's one of the reasons that I wanted to wait and make an Imperial Guard armies video. That wasn't necessarily discussing any individual regiment. I might highlight a couple of them, or highlight ones that need some highlighting, but it was more going to be, how big are the regiments? Now, for me, there are ranges based on what type of regiment it is, and I generally break them down into light infantry, which are the largest regiments. Light infantry. Then you have regular line troops. Then you have heavy infantry, which are much rarer. Then you have shock, assault, and stormtroops, which are like line troops with a little bit of modification. And then you have mechanized, motorized, armored, super heavy, artillery support, etc. And all of these have different numbers and different quantities of troops, but it also means that, you know, light infantry, they're going to have a ratio of between 50,000 and 100,000. And regular line infantry, they might have between 30,000 and 80,000. And then storm and shock, they're going to have between 30,000 and 50,000, a little bit less of them. For heavy regiments, we're talking anywhere between 10,000 and 25,000. So, I have these numbers in my head. I use them for Corrupt Contenders a lot, which is my game system that I created. So, yes, I would love to do a video on that and talk about it. If you want to know about a specific regiment, what type they have, it'd be great. But that's another reason why I don't include the Kriegers or the Cadians in that number, because they have permission to essentially do whatever the hell they want. Yeah, Armored Recovery, Space Tow Truck Driver. That's one of the things. Those specialist units, things like tunnelers, engineers, logistics regiments, you know, ones that don't necessarily have to be attached to another regiment, but can be attached to an entire crusade. Light transport vehicles. Nobody talks about, like, where are the 3-ton trucks for the Imperial Guard? Yeah, no, that yes, you have a very good point. And the thing is, I was talking about the Adeptus Mechanicus in general, so I didn't want to get into the Questor, the Titanica, all that stuff. I did actually talk about it. I did talk about the Titanica and the Questor, in that they are supporting the Knights and Titans, and they essentially act as foot troops for them. But yes, you're right. The reason that I didn't mention them as well was for that specific reason, because it depends. I didn't want to go too far into it, so as to not give the incorrect assumption that just every single Mechanicus force has X number of robots or Y numbers of tanks, etc. But yes, good point there, and I'm glad you've made that list, because I am not a Mechanicus guy, and I don't know all of the different auxilias and folks, and some of them are hyper-specific, and I can't really generalize because what was in one Auxilia Myrmidon unit is not going to be in every Auxilia Myrmidon unit, or Questor Mechanicus units are going to be different between whatever Legio or whatever Lance they're working with, sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. There we go. Just getting a slightly bigger army here. I saw that Scourge boy, so we're going to go and mess his day up. Yeah. The Legio Cybernetica, those are essentially just going to be a whole bunch of servitors and combat thralls, but, you know, I did talk a little bit about how I didn't feel a need to go into every single type of servitor available to the Mechanicus, because quite literally the number is infinite. There is no point at which I would say the Mechanicus can't modify a human being to be a servitor. Matter of fact, it would be pretty hard to even pinpoint at what point they stop modifying them, because the Legio Cybernetica will do absolutely insane and downright unethical shit to people in order to make servitors. Downright unethical is a little bit mean. At least they try and make them not conscious while they turn them into a mechanized, horrifying creature. They try. Not very hard, but they do. Man, this is a massive pain in the ass over here. Oh, this little one patch of desert in the literal tundra. Love this game, but sometimes it does silly things with the world generation. Long streams are chill. I'm enjoying this. What is it? A giant ant queen. Yeah, sure, that's normal and not ridiculous. Alright. Oh my god, there's more ants. Why are there so many ants? Why am I fighting ants? Why are ants the final boss in this freaking game? Oh. Man, it's almost 7:20. Oh goodness. We got some people talking to us on YouTube. Got some comments to go back to. Good. I will go back to that when I am done, around 8 o'clock probably. Yep. No, absolutely. Every man with a big melt-a-gun is very easily made into one spirit animal. Kain is almost the diametrical opposite of Gaunt. And I love Gaunt so much, but that man needs some therapy. Ibram Gaunt requires severe therapy. He's so broken. It's sad as hell, because he's a really good guy. He really is a good guy. He does his bestest. And, yeah, everyone at 40k needs therapy. But guys, he was sewed into a demon womb and flayed alive. I think he needs more therapy than most. I feel so bad for him, even though it's literally my faction and my people who did that to him, but I still feel bad. Yeah. Sorry, yes. Again, like I said, I don't know every single Ordo or stuff like that. If you want me to go deeper into that, I suppose I could do a lore video on it. But since I've already talked about the actual robots, and since I've talked about how they work within the army, I don't think giving a specific video on a specific Ordo would be acceptable given the length that I have to make these at. Well, that I want to make these at. You know, nothing's making me make the video 2 hours long. I'm just insane. Quite frankly. Yay, more I love how Jaguars look in this game. They look so pudgy. They're fat. Adorable kitties. Hoburg Militia, boys. Speaking of almost that same exact book, there's another crazy thing. Anyone ever heard of the 9 Holy Wounds of Saint Sabbat? It's fine if you haven't, but it's another thing that I was thinking about doing. I was thinking about talking about them because they're another one of those things that are inconsistent and we get little lore tidbits every now and then. Yeah. See, we know that things like paradise worlds, pleasure worlds exist, but we also never hear about, like, what about agri-worlds? What about feudal worlds? What about feral worlds? There could be a lot of peace in the Imperium in addition to a lot of war. Not every world is crazy and dictatorial and insanely uncomfortable. And that's another great thing. If people want to hear about Imperial worlds, God, I would love to talk about that. God, that would be such a good archive video. I would so be down for that. 100%. And I think the wholesome planets. One of my favorite things is picking out palaces for either imperial governors or like sector governors to be like, well, I'm gonna set up the sector governance on a paradise world. Why? So that I don't have to deal with any of the bullshit of living on a hive world. I want to live in an actual place that looks pretty, you know. Somebody who chooses to go live out in Aruba or off the coast in their own private island, essentially. That's how I see a lot of the imperial nobility who just choose, like, yeah, I'm going to set up my government on the most choice piece of real estate in the entire sector. Yeah, 40k City Builder. So if you look right now, there's a vote on the channel about what our first archive video is going to be. The two winners, or the two that are closest to winning right now, I'm going to cut it off at around 50 votes. But the two that are closest to winning right now are field generators, so things like void shields, refractor fields, shadow fields, all the stuff like that, and hives. I will talk about hives in general, but I'll also talk about different types of hives and proto hives and mega cities and things like that as well, if we do that video. But the thing is, currently it looks like something else is going to win, so keep that in mind for future archive videos for sure. Because when we start doing one after another, we will be talking more about archive because I will start doing archive videos more consistently. Because right now we're doing basically 0 archive videos because, well, nobody has voted for one yet and had it actually win. But I think that that's the thing that people have the most questions on, and really I feel like I could answer those questions with like 5 seconds of actual brainpower work. Especially with hives. Hives have such a weird reputation, and I feel like they're host to so many incorrect assumptions or like bad faith arguments that they kind of get misrepresented in the lore and in other stuff like that. Like, everyone thinks that hives have spires. Not the case. Everybody thinks that, you couldn't build a city up into a hive, or they think that hives can't be built on top of one another. Not the case. Oh my god, that's the first iron anything that I found this entire campaign. Holy shit. That took literally like 40 minutes before I found iron. This is the worst Minecraft run ever. Oh, I X'd it out. Oh, no. 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 Oh, no. Whoops. Sorry, time to relaunch. Sorry. Whoops. Sorry about that. Little gaff there. Little goof. But yeah. Essentially, I would love to do that. Yeah. Parasitic architecture. That's cool and all, but the thing is, I look at a lot of the architecture in 40k as its intentional design. So while it may be parasitic and predatory, while it may be bad for the people living in it, or it may be dependent on them to continue operation, it's also designed with sustainability in mind. So what do I mean? Like, a lot of hives are going to have very complex sewage systems, electricity, power. And the other big thing is people look at hives and they're like, well, it's just a big place for people to live. No, the entire world's industry is based in the hive, usually within the lower skirt and the upper central layers. You know, it generally goes between, like, the worst living areas and the recycling areas down in the underhive, and then above that on the street level, so to speak, and the skirt, that's the industry and the production of the world, along with a whole lot more better living conditions. And then on the mid-level, the either central circle or the mid-spire, that's like administrative or like lesser nobility. And then Anything above that is going to be purely administrative, it's going to be defensive, and it's going to be really high nobility. So they have a hierarchy based on where you live that is built around how the hive is designed. And of course, there are multiple different hives, in design terms. I break them down into three major types, with a kind of three and a half, almost. You have the most traditional and the most expensive, and expense is a factor within these. The most expensive, which is spire hives. They are the ones that you associate immediately with a hive. It goes straight up. It has a wide skirt with a lot of industry around it. Trad hive, so to speak. Then you have the older hive design, and you might say, well, isn't the spire the oldest? No, the spire is the most impressive and the most classic in terms of our mindset, but the oldest hive design is the spire. What makes the spire special? Essentially, is the column hive. The column hive is what is on Necromunda. It almost looks like a hypodermic needle that you stabbed into the planet. It looks like a single, thick, round column around which all of the industry and the living spaces are built. And then the last one is the pancake hive. Pancake hives are big, they're wide, they're usually very deep, they have a thick underhive and a wide skirt, but they tend to not have lots of spires or a lot of height. So they're big and fat and wide, but they're more thick than they are tall. And then the last one that's kind of a half hive, half not, is the mega city or proto hive. Now, the Mechanicus and other forces actually do take a lot of interest in developing and building hive cities. They have standard constructions that they use to make up, like, the power systems, the sewer systems. They are all designed custom, but they do have some basic designs that make up the majority of hives use X technology or X design. But the mega cities or the proto hives either don't grow at the same density as regular hives, so they aren't going to be as big, as thickly populated, or as organized. They kind of just spread out all over an entire planet. And the proto-hives are ones that use some hive architecture, but they don't use, like, actual hive pieces. So they use maybe the power systems or maybe the defensive systems, but they don't have spires, they don't have an underhive, all that stuff. Yeah, wacky hive locations, the bottom of a planetary ice shelf. That's a great one. There's a lot of good options for that. Lesser ceremony to ball, please. I would say another solid idea for those is, like, because these differences are so kind of specific to different types of hive, you can point to any hive in the setting, and I could immediately tell you, that's a spire hive, that's a pancake hive, that's a mega city, or that's a column hive. And then I could tell you things about it based on what type I observe it to be. And, it's not always hyper-specific. There are some hives that fall into both, and that's why megacities are a thing. And also, the populations that fit within hives are severely frickin' overextended. I really dislike this, the concept that people have where it's like, oh, hives house billions on billions of people. A couple of billion. A couple of billion is more than most hives can handle. I would say your max on a very large spire hive, spire hives do hold the most people, on a very large spire hive would probably be somewhere between 5 and 10 billion. But that also means that it is encouraging you to make more hives. You don't want to have just one hive on a planet. A lot of hive worlds do have only one hive, but there are options to get more hives. And they're a pretty solid option because more population, more industry, etc. But I think 5 billion is a pretty easy cutoff for how many people will fit in your average hive. Before you have issues with, like, population or starvation, things like that. Yeah. You could theoretically bump it up to 10 billion, but do you wanna? Is it worth the instability that you might be suffering from having that many people without food, water, and possibly air. I don't know. Up to you. And, you know, people say, where do all the armies of the Imperium come from? 5 billion is a huge number of people. Do you realize how many armies there are on our little dirtball Earth? Do you know how many armed servicemen exist in all of the world's armies? Calling a couple million, or even a few dozen million men from every Imperial world would be able to get you enough people to populate every single guard regiment in existence, basically. Because we're talking hundreds of millions, if not billions, from a single subsector. Which, you know, that is just one subsector, essentially. Of which there are, you know, hundreds within the Imperium, or maybe 100. Because people don't really care about subsectors all that much. I do. I care about them. Oh my god, I got a giant. Sidan the Zunzumite. He has 2 spells. Cool. I am going to have Sidan lead my army now. Yeah. 30 more minutes. I'm going to see if I can hold on for that long. Probably can. We'll see. But yeah, I'm surprised. We got 5 people in here. That's really nice. I'm absolutely cool with that. That is a great number for holy shit. Giant magic is strong, baby. He looks like a Eastern Orthodox priest. Which I'm not knocking, because that is a pretty cool aesthetic. Yes, the power of Baal has compelled them. Playing as the priestess is kind of fun. Yadia, I need her back in charge just so I can start sacrificing civilians to begin increasing the number of giants in my army. Yay. Can I use... No, I don't want to Hyrule. Where is my... Oh, there we go. I gotta get the right person in charge of the army, otherwise it ruins it. Special power, lesser ceremonial ball. I can't do it. Damn it all to hell. I will get my giants, damn you. I want giants. Even if I have to pry them from your... Hey, cool, I got a giant spider in my army somehow. Just let me get giants, man. It's so... It honestly feels like such a pain in the ass. I'm sacrificing my own economy just to get these giants in the first place. Blood Feast. Nice. The Ankite Captain. And a whole bunch of Ankites, baby! That's what I'm talking about! That's what I want to see! Look at that! Our entire front line is made up entirely of giants. That is awesome. A giant front line, if you will. Alrighty. And also we can stick around and toss some nice units into our backline. Oh, he kills the giants by accident. Damn you, dude. This is why Decay is such a nasty spell. Nobody can stop me because I have hella broken magic. I think we'll be just fine. As long as we can get to the Fortress of the Ring, we should be just fine. Because I need to get more sacrifices. Bring me more sacrifices! Herd the Imperial lambs to the slaughter! Bring corn his fill, or I'll wring what I need from your broken bodies! More blood! For the blood god! Blood for the blood god and such, my fellow friends. Alright, we finna grab some ball-eyed archers. Get some more archers. Archers are always a good thing. Archers are never bad. There we go. Now I'm going to sacrifice this village and get more giants. Oh yeah, baby! That's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna actually make this dude separate. I'm gonna make him his own army. Because he's starting to be really annoying. We're gonna go to a major village and start committing crimes. Also gonna fill up my... Oh, does he have a power he can use? Minor summoning, damn it. Oh. Spoke a lot on minor Forge Worlds. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, I'm not sure about the Age of Strife specifically, but are you referring to Urdesh? Because if you are, then yeah. I have some serious theories about Urdesh and why they are treated the way that they are by other forges and such. Oh my god, this guy has crazy spells. But yeah, I have theories about why they're treated so badly. But the Age of Strife is part of that, how some forges are disliked and they're not friendly with each other. They don't always work together, and I think Urdesh is kind of the poster child for this, because there is a line from Archon, from the book Archon, where a little minor noble from the world, or from Urdesh, is talking about how he remembers how their house worked with the Sanguinary Brood, referring to the Chaos Forces of the Blood Pact, as much as they did with Far Off Terra. He actually says that to a Chaos follower. He says, House Gentethi has always dealt equally with the Sanguinary Brood as often as we have with Far Off Terra. Now, either that's an admission that that Forge World was actively working for Chaos, or this one house was working for Chaos at some point, or that dude has been privately supplying Chaos warbands and stuff with equipment for, like, some time. I don't know which one is strictly worse, but I think that might be related to the Age of Strife. Maybe he's referencing how his house used to be in charge of a bunch of stuff during the Age of Strife, and how they were kind of like, not bending the knee to Chaos, but were like, they worked with them, or at least they were on the same level, and then they got punished for it afterward. And I found that a really juicy little statistic. And that's in the same exact book as the Kimura. He's actually saying it to a Kimura. Which, based. And also, it's one of the best scenes in any book that I've ever read. Because the dude is kind of bad-mouthing the Blood Pact. He's like, man, you guys are old. Because, of course, the Kimura come in their human disguise. And he's like, huh, I'm sad to see the Sanguinary Brood so depleted that they have to send old men to assist us or to accomplish this mission. And they're all just looking at him like, oh, you don't know who we are, do you? And in his brain, he's like, oh, I gotta get rid of these guys. This was a terrible idea. I should have, sided with the Imperials all along. And then one of the Kimura transforms in front of him into this, like, 7-foot-tall, deer skull possessed human. And he's like, yeah, I wanted to reassure you and make sure that you didn't do anything stupid because you didn't know who we were. Very good scene. Very cool. And it gives you that whole, like, oh, these are the boys. These are the possessed. I love them. I love them so much. If I could wax on lyrically eternally about the Kimura, I would. I've managed to not talk about them for 50 or for 20 or 30 videos now, which means that I'm ooh, skeleton giants. Which means that I'm allowed to talk about them now. Okay, and second Blood Feast. Oh, I need another action point. Damn it. We are nearing the end of the stream, boys. I'm so sorry. We're getting to the end. You guys have been really great. Wow, I have hella giants. Hella giants. Oh, yeah, baby. I have 3 named giants. That's very cool. I'm going to kill a snake. That seems kind of unfair. Oh, why does that snake have magic thing? Oh, because he... yeah. Because he killed my other giant, who I sent off alone. Oh, hi, levies. This is not going to be a fair fight. Death, 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 death. Yeah, easy. Easy. Easy game. Easy game, boys. Not at all difficult. Spearman, spearman. I don't have any... Ooh, I have 1 big village left, which I'm going to use to get even more giants, because Blood Feast is based! Alright, Blood Feast. I need another point for that. And then I'm... Oh, ooh, ooh, ooh! Dwarves! 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 My face when I get to murder dwarves for fun. Blood Feast. Giant. Lots of extra giants. Alright, Zippur. We are going on a trip to our favorite rocket ship. Zooming through the sky. Time for dwarves to die. Speaking of dwarves, please do not ask me to do lore videos on the squats / the leagues of Votann. Their lore is literally, in its entirety, not mature enough for me to actually logically assess it. So, you know, I find myself not only incapable, but with absolutely 0 actual interest. You know, one of the few times where I say, not only do I not want to, I also don't care. I will if everyone screams it at me, but I severely doubt, given the number of people who play Votann, that anybody is going to be screaming at me to do Votann. No, not happening. Probably not happening. I will never say no to the crowd. I'm not a shill, but I am also not a massive prude. I will do what you ask if you ask nicely, and it's a logical enough thing. Also, are these guys ghosts? I think they kind of are. Very nice. Ghost giants are much cooler than regular giants. I think you guys have all headed out. Nope. Yeah. Yeah, they seem really cool. Unfortunately, fucking none of their lore makes any sense. At all, basically. Well, I shouldn't say at all, but for the most part, most of their lore makes absolutely no fucking sense. Or it really hasn't been developed all that much. I have no idea about how they operate with a lot of different factions. Are they the old squats? I don't know. Yeah, pretty much they're running on entirely vibes. They're a whole faction based on the vibe. Which isn't a bad thing, but if we treated every faction equally, then they would have absolutely no pull in the galaxy. Because generally, when a faction is entirely based on vibes, or they don't have any super long history or anything like that, they will suffer. For example, I will give you every single minor Xenos faction. Yeah, you don't see a lot of Uvath around the galaxy anymore. Why? Because they probably got rid of them during the... Oh, we got dwarves. I have one job in this game, and it is to exterminate everything under 4 feet, of which the dwarves are a major contingent. It's not for a particular hatred. It's just in this game the dwarves are canonically an infestation of cockroach people. and I wish to murder them. No, you don't understand. Illwinter treats dwarves as if they are like high. Holy shit! It's the fucking king in yellow. Oh my god! It's an eldritch abomination from beyond our fucking stars. Hearken, a stranger travels unutterable roads. He acts, structures tremble, unleashing rancor. Horror ascends, spreading terrifying, unnameable rupture. The Corsican letters. Holy shit. The dwarves might have to... Also, he has his two little buddies. Wolf Tribe Bowman and Wolf Tribe Warrior. Do I dare fight Haster the King in Yellow, boys? Is that... Don't stare at it or watch any plays? I'ma kill it. I'ma kill his ass. I'm so gonna die. I think, come on, this many giants can definitely kill one tentacle boy, right? Oh my freaking lord, that's a lot of magic. What's his... Oh, he's got level 3 void magic. Oh, I am in deep shit now. Uh-oh, that... Come on, boys, we gotta kill... Holy shit, he just petrified all of them and turned one. Oh my god. Please kill him. I have like 20 giants. I should be able to kill him. This game is not... Yeah, are there Nephilim spawns too? Biblical giants? God damn. That is very cool. I think I can kill him. He's taken 0 damage so far, but I think I can kill him still. How did you fear a giant? He's a named giant. He has a morale of like 8. What's your morale? Also 8. Oh god. Maybe I do lose this. Maybe I lose. Oh shit, he's got... Oh man. This is not looking good for me, gentlemen. This may be the end. If we lose here, this may be the end. Oh shoot. Oh shoot. Oh, that's very not good. Come on, he's so close. He's actually losing health. Yes! Yes, he's dead! We did it! We did it! Tentacles are gone! We win! Victory is ours! Screw fear, screw petrification, screw all of it, we win! Oh my god, how much of my army's even left? Oh, like a solid half. That's not bad. Not enough to fight the dwarves, though, which is kind of a problem. I would like some spearmen, please. 15 units? That's not going to be a lot. Yeah, I beat Haster, the king in yellow. Never expected that shit to happen. My goodness. Well, now I have to post it. You know, pics or it didn't happen. Now I gotta post this video. Oh, man. You five have been great. What? Is that a wolf man? Is that a wolf man? I'm gonna beat him to death. Why? Out of spite. More archers, please. Alright. Come on, Wolfman. I know you got something up your sleeve. You feared one giant. Good job. Okay. Time to kill the dwarves. I'm sorry, boys. We gotta get rid of them. I know it's a grudge, but quite frankly, I do not care. They are... Activate special location. Not possible right now. What the hell is this? I thought it was just a graveyard. Yep. Bruh. I really... Oh, shipstones. What is this? Autumns will now be longer. How did I just change the seasons with a rock? What is this game? What is this game? How do I change the seasons with a rock? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, I opened a portal to hell. Yeah, no, that makes more sense. God damn, this game is so silly sometimes, man. I don't know. It's silly in a very fun way. Those dwarves are pillaging my village, and I need them absolutely scoriated from existence, because they're starting to annoy me. Lesser Ceremony Brawl? I don't have any of the powers for Lesser Ceremony Brawl. Ah! I need more time. I need more time. More time. Also, do the RimWorld 40k mods, are they, like, any good? Because I do have RimWorld, but I'm, like, please don't ask me to play RimWorld. I am really bad at it. Like, unbelievably shit at RimWorld. I would legitimately need, like, active assistance in order to play RimWorld well. Which, I don't want to rely on you to tell me how to play games. But I am shit at RimWorld. Pretty good? Yeah. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. They looked... the ones that I saw didn't look too terrible. A lot of RimWorld mods are pretty good. I am... This band of dwarves is getting squatted. Prepare to be crushed by the might of my girthy giant army. Very, very good. 2 different mod packs. Grimhammer and the one you're using. Huh. I will probably look into those at some point. Because once I learn how to play the game, I will eventually be good at it. And everyone knows, once you're good at something, post it on YouTube, because that's how that works. Alright. You guys have been great, but after a couple more turns here, I'm probably going to have to swap out and leave all of you wonderful, intelligent people to your own devices. Probably around 8 o'clock, I will finish up. And that seems to me like a pretty solid stream. What do you guys think? Like a 2-hour thing? I think that's something that I can manage to do maybe once every month or so. Maybe a little bit more often. We'll see. RimWorld's like Dwarf Fortress. Failing is the story too, even if it still sucks. Yeah, you're right. I want to learn how to play Dwarf Fortress. That would be fun. I played first edition D&D, and I absolutely fell in love with it. Who'd win? 18 oiled up tech priest or a custodian? Is the custodian also naked and oiled up? Because if that's the case, then the tech priests win. But if it's a straight up custodian, and the tech priests are not, armed with any particular heavy weaponry, the custodian's just gonna blitz them. No, the custodian is not armored? Is that what you're saying? I would say that the tech priests actually win. Because all they would really have to do is all of them throw themselves at him at the same time, and essentially just use their mechadendrites to try and shred him. Because the tech priest arms, they're kind of, their servitor claws and stuff are very strong. Space Marine strong. And since there were so many of them, 18 is definitely enough to grab him and basically shred him. He would definitely kill more than a couple of them, but as long as they're in an enclosed space, I'm pretty sure that they would win. I don't know how oiling them up makes them more, I don't know whether oiling them up makes them more or less militarily effective. I think you may have your own reasons for oiling up the tech priests, which, I don't shame. I don't shame. But, that might be with your own reasons. Yeah, good life for people in a lot of cases. Yeah. It makes all the... I think you might be just a little bit biased, maybe? Maybe a little bit of personal bias coming into this. that you think that it matters all that much that they're oiled up? All right. I'm not questioning you. You're the viewer. The viewer is always right? Yeah, I think 2 hours is very very reasonable. I wouldn't expect anyone to sit and listen to me yap for 2 hours, unless I was like 80 years old. In which case, I expect you to sit and listen to me for 2 hours. But yeah, we're gonna destroy this dwarven stronghold. Maybe grab a couple of 18 tech priests with power axes and oil destroy. I would say that they would lose more than half of their number, but they would definitely kill the custodian. No one wants to watch unlubricated... Guys. There's a reason why women aren't part of the hobby. This is one of them. I don't judge. I don't give a shit. Oh, very funny, gentlemen. Very funny. I agree. No one wants to see unlubricated toasters grinding on each other at Custodes. That... Raw toaster action. Would that be toaster on toaster violence? I don't know. I don't know. I would have to ask the custodian, I guess. But yeah, if you take a Custodes out of their armor, they are way more vulnerable. It's why the eyes of the Emperor are threatening, but not altogether as dangerous as they seem to be. What's up? Oh. Oh my goodness, are you our 0.03% woman? Oh my god, we have a 99.7 or 99.97% male audience. Are you the 0.03%? That would be unbelievable. No freaking way. How many STCs do you have? Like in my personal Forge world, or in my faction, or as the Archon? What are you referring to exactly? I'm sure it's nothing wholesome, whatever it may be. I can't believe we found the 0.03%. That's wild. That is quite literally like coming across a unicorn. Unironically, that is unicorn levels of rare. I think you are the statistical anomaly, the statistical anomaly that's like when we find life on the sun. Similar level of statistics. We're really, I'm glad to have you here. I hope that my content appeals to everyone, but I understand that this entire fucking universe does not appeal to everyone. Matter of fact, it would be arguable that this universe does not apply to almost anyone. We are all turbo nerds here, at least to a degree. I just happen to be a particularly vocal and psychotic, insane, slightly abnormal, mentally unwell, whatever you'd like to call it. One of those turbo nerds. I wouldn't say slightly unwell at the moment. I think I'm doing just fine. Oh my god, look at this army. It is wide, baby, wide. Love me a big army. And also, now I finally have metal. Metal is important, because metal lets us get better things. Oh my god, it's 8 o'clock. Well, without further ado, do you think I should save here and continue on later? Nah, I think we'll just start again. You guys have been absolutely great. Yeah, way of the 40K-tism. You have every reason to be proud. Yeah. Yeah, million star systems on a map with paint. That's, dedication to both of you. Very proud of you for doing that. I spend my own time writing for 40 different Imperial planets, so I can understand the pain and the struggle. It is a very reasonable thing to do. So I appreciate it. I will wish you all a wonderful Merry Christmas.